Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I am him, the one and only Still Reigning. You are now tuned in, locked in, and loaded to your morning show, Living Split Screen in the Morning, where we give it to you live, raw, and uncut with an authentic approach. We talk about all things gaming across the industry. We're not centric in any way because it's all about the games and the gamers, right? Anyway, with that being said, I am Still Rain, and I'm sitting here with my hostess, with the mostest, one of the most critical guys I know, one of the guys with the most knowledgeable minds in the industry, as far as I'm concerned, my brother from another, the guy who puts the soul in Pong. Pong Soul, what's going on, my guy?
Did you just call me a hostess, by the way?
The hostess with the mostest.
Okay, I thought I was a hostess all of a
No,
sudden.
you're not a
Good
hostess.
morning. Good morning, Steel. Good morning, chat. Episode number 9 of Living Split Screen, where we are the breakfast for your ears, where we are the coffee and the pre-workout to start your day. That's what we're all about at Living Split Screen, Steel. My God, man. You know what? You know what, Steel?
What's going on,
Can you
man?
feel it? Can you feel it?
Do you feel it in your arms? No.
This is not quite what I was going for,
okay,
but I like it. I actually like it.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? I heard you singing this morning, right behind the scenes. So, you know what? Everybody out there, Steele's got a great voice.
Whoa,
so we can have him sing for the show. But no, this is the calm. This is the calm before the storm.
Facts.
You could feel it this week, man. You could feel it. This is that when the wind dies down.
Ooh.
And you look at the sky and it's black off to the east, man.
Also,
and you know the storm is coming, right?
Also,
you can see the lightning flashes. You know, you can hear the rumble in the distance.
Yep.
And you know something big's coming. And that's what's gonna happen. Because we got E3 coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We got E3 gamers. It's Christmas time for us, right? And this is what you kind of felt this week, man. You felt that lull a little bit with the news, but we still had plenty to talk about. We still got a lot to get into on a Saturday morning, which is obviously what we're here to do. So, you know what, Steel? Let's get down to business and let's talk about what we got to talk about, because there's a lot going on still. We had a lot of news come out this week. Nothing huge, nothing groundbreaking, earth-shattering, but we had some drama, right? We had some drama.
There's definitely some drama, yeah.
Yeah. We had some a lot of business news starting to come out about things going on. But I'm ready to definitely dive in and talk about this. So you know what, Steel? Let's just get down and dirty right away. We gotta get out the new releases of the week, as we always do. Let's start there. So you let me know when you're ready to bring that on up, but we should let the people know what's coming out.
That is a fact. We're definitely going to do that. Before we roll into that and I bring that screen on up and get that pulled up, I want to say thank you to everybody who's already tuned in. We got Mr. Keema in here, Six Slayer, Smitty Smith, The Wandering Dutch, Animated Evil, Fastback, shout out, Casket Repair. He said he was going to tune in the morning, and he's here, locked and loaded. Good to see you. Hopefully you got your coffee and everything, or your pre-workout, your whatever you're into at this current moment. Hope you got it locked in and loaded. Joe Dunmore, I see he's locked in here. Stuart, he's here. You know what I mean? Who else we got? HTK popped in here early. Pixel Slapper, Boogeyman. Look, man, y'all have come out every week. Great to see y'all, man. And just to keep the consistency up and the support, man. I don't know if there was anything else that I really wanted to get into. Oh, yeah, there was one other thing.
Yeah. We got a big announcement. Yeah,
I did want to do some housekeeping.
Big announcement.
Yeah. We are releasing. I'm gonna say releasing. We're not releasing the game. I'm not a developer, but we are giving away Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Middle of the show For those of you who are going to be
code.
locked and loaded, and maybe you don't have a chance, you haven't had a chance to get Mass Effect. Maybe there was too many games coming out, and you just had to make a tough decision. You'll have a chance to win Mass Effect mid-show, and we're going to be dropping that code. But we're going to be doing it. It's going to be an Xbox code, yes. And it's going to be an Xbox code. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Xbox code. It's going to be all digital, baby. But we're going to drop that mid-show. But there's going to be some stipulations. We're going to try to do it through a random name generator. We want it to be as fair as possible. So if you're here and you're locked in, we're going to have you drop some numbers or something. We were trying to decide how we wanted to do it, but we're probably going to do a number or something just so we can get a tally of who's all in here. It may be interested in winning this game, Mass Effect Legendary Edition for the Xbox. So with that being said, let us roll into what the upcoming games are. Let's go.
All
Let me
right.
go ahead and
ready to rock and roll.
pull that up.
Yes, sir. Well, of course, as Steele gets that up, we could not start this list. We ended this list last week when I did this because it's such a big release. People are even more hyped now because of the drama that was created by some, of course, the usual suspects, the fanboys out there. Shout out to you guys for actually helping this team out with this game and getting the word out because it spread fast like a wildfire.
That's a fact.
And now you got even more people who are ready to buy this. So Biomutant, of course, is dropping on May 25th, which is Tuesday, I believe. So that's right. That's right. This is my birthday week too. So this is exciting for me, brother. You know it.
Okay, birthday boy.
Yeah, that's right. So May 25th, we've got Biomutant from Experiment 101, published by THQ Nordic, as I think probably everybody in the community now knows, if you didn't know before. So Biomutant, the next big thing this week, whether or not you're hyped about it, if you watch the videos, you got to say the game just looks like pure fun. It is gorgeous looking. This is going to be a new action RPG from a small 20-person team.
Yes,
and you know what? It is important to know, and we're going to get into this later. Obviously,
yes, we are.
We're gonna talk about this whole situation and stuff. So we'll get more in depth with this. But this small team right here has been working on this thing for nearly 7 years. Because of the simple fact that they had an iteration prior to the one that we are currently seeing.
Yes.
So this thing has been around for a long time. These people have poured their heart and soul into this game. You can tell.
100%.
This looks like a polished game. This does not look like a game that we've become accustomed to, unfortunately, where it comes out and it's got some issues. Again, we don't know. It's not out yet, but there are people with their hands on it already. And it seems to be like one of those games that is going to catch people by surprise, kind of like Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that comes out of the blue. Well, not out of the blue now, because now everybody kind of knows about it. But it's going to be one of those games that I think is going to be a big hit. And this team deserves it. So Biomutant on Tuesday. If you haven't pre-ordered it, go check out the videos. Go take a look at it, because if you're into action RPGs, if you love customizing characters, if you like looting, if you like crafting your weapons, if you like open world style games, this is going to be a game for you, no doubt.
Full on action RPG. It's definitely something to consider, man. Like Paul was saying, 20-man team. We'll dive into some more specifics later. But there's some the game director himself has actually come out with some excellent interviews. If y'all haven't checked that out, definitely look into that. I
tweeted it out yesterday. So
and
you guys can go look on my Twitter page.
That's a fact. Or if just on YouTube, just type in Biomutant interviews. They'll definitely come up. It's just, they've been having some fantastic interviews and been hitting on some fantastic points. And the amount of dedication and everything. I know, I believe that he was saying in the interview, this is one of the key points I wanted to bring in. I think he was saying all the way up to 2017 before they teamed up with THQ, that they had a 13-person team, and then after 2017, that's when they were able to get some more people in. And yeah, man, for a 20-person team to be doing everything that they're doing within this game, again, another great example to go from, he said that they had an 80,000 word script that jumped up to 250,000 words. So there's going to be a lot of dialogue. There's going to be a lot of, all of its voice.
Three times.
It is insane. That is insane.
But
all of it's voiced too. All of it's voiced.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be crazy. But anyway, yeah, man, Biomutant, I'm excited for it. So.
Oh yeah, well, you can tell both of us are, man. This is gonna be one great game. I cannot wait until Tuesday. Final Fantasy 14 finally hits PlayStation 5. Man, this is a game that I've wanted on Xbox for so long. I know the PC community and PlayStation community have been enjoying this game for years and years, and we were supposed to get it. Phil kind of made a promise. This is one of those Phil promises that I've been scratching my head at, because it sounded like it was a done deal. But anyways, just as far as the release goes, it looks like it's getting that PlayStation 5 obviously upgrade, whatever they're going to do for it. I'm assuming frames, I'm assuming resolution at this point. But you know what? Final Fantasy 14 is one of those games I really want, and I hope they make it happen someday, because that is an MMO that I will definitely love to dive into. King of Seas for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, also coming out the 25th. There is a demo, I still believe. You can get a trial version of this on Xbox right now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on PlayStation or anywhere else. I'm assuming it is.
Okay.
But there is a trial. Cool. Actually, a cool little game. I fooled around with it for about an hour and a half. I'm big into pirates. I like that stuff. So you know what? Anytime a new one comes out, I'm gonna check it out. Graphics are sharp. Last gen, it's not the most, it's obviously not the most complicated thing in the world, but you know what? Go check it out. King of the Seas. If you guys are into pirate games, definitely might be something that captures your imagination, and something that you might want to check out. It's a smaller game. It's not a big game by any stretch of the imagination. So cool concept though, for sure. Maneater finally hits the Switch on May 25th. All you Switch people, man, I'm so happy I held off on that, because
isn't it coming to Game Pass?
Game Pass. Yeah, this week. Yeah. So finally, Maneater, the RPG shark simulator game where you get to hop on beaches out of the water and eat people and take down boats and attack other, look out for yourself, because there's bigger fish in the sea as well that are gonna eat you. But I held off on this game. It's something I wanted to play from the beginning. Everybody's had a great experience. Next gen upgrade came out for free, I think, like a month ago, 2 months ago. So the game is looking good on next gen, or on current gen. I should switch over to saying now, because we are in this gen. So current gen.
I'm still on the fence with that. I still call it current gen and then new gen, next gen.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but for anybody with PlayStation 5 series consoles, that upgrade came out. But I can't wait to get my hands on it. I know a lot of people played it. A lot of people loved the hell out of this game. So I cannot wait to jump into that on Game Pass. But it is coming to the Switch. So all you Nintendo heads out there, enjoy it. Shin Megami Tensei the Third Nocturne HD Remaster.
Sound like a mouthful to say right there.
It is a mouthful. But
Go catch a breath.
If anybody doesn't know, this is the series that started, and then Persona was spun off from this. This is the original. This is the OG, right?
Yeah.
And this is a fantastic series that needs to come to Xbox. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But someday, if this takes off, and the reviews on this HD remaster right here are off the charts, I think it's scoring in the 90 right now, 90, 91. This is a fantastic series. to jump into. It is darker and deeper than Persona is in a lot of ways. It touches on a lot of different religious subjects, which is why originally it was
Mhm.
Japanese only. Because back in the day when this series first started, obviously it was a touchy thing, and the West they didn't think it would do well in the West. Well, obviously everybody got a hold of their import
Bro.
versions and loved
Oh,
the hell out of it, and it's turned into a big deal. But it is a great series to jump into if you like classic JRPG. If you like the Persona series, this is where it all began. But this is number 3, Nocturne, and the HD remaster. And like I said, the reviews are off the charts, so this is looking great. This is coming out for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. And hopefully, Phil, if you're listening, keep pushing, man. We need these games over here
facts.
on the Xbox side of things. So that comes also May 25th. May 25th is absolutely huge, man.
Seems to be.
Earth Earth Defense Force World Brothers. Now, I liked Earth Defense Force when it first came out. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played them in a while
Ah,
because they just keep putting them out. But you know what? For a game just to jump into and mess around with for a little bit,
okay.
there's
Alright.
nothing like shooting big bugs and aliens and all sorts of crazy
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
gigantic robots. Earth Defense Force is fun. Absolutely third person. I still think it's third person. I haven't looked this one up, but World Brothers is coming out PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC May
Excellent.
27th. So you know what? I'm gonna take a look at that and see what it looks like. Again, too bad it's not. I don't see Xbox in there, which is sad. But that's May 27th. That's
Jesus.
my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this Thursday. So get hyped because it's Pong Soul's birthday.
Basically,
He gets another year older.
basically, what he's telling you guys is get your codes and everything ready. Send it, hit him up in the
No,
DMs.
I am not saying that at all. Please, God, no. No, I'm going to get hate DMs now. Pong Soul is begging for birthday gifts on Living Split Screen. No, I'm
shit,
not.
That's
No, I'm
hilarious.
not. Oh, man. Stop. You could get me in trouble.
Oh.
Oddworld Collection comes out on the Switch May 27th. Again, that's my birthday, if anybody didn't hear that. No, just joking.
DM him
Oddworld
the code.
Collection. Oddworld Collection coming out on Switch May 27th. Oddworld, great game, old series. I
Yeah.
know the latest one, what was it? Oddworld Soul Wrath, something?
Soul Rift?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Hold
Yeah,
on, hold
something
on,
like
hold on,
that.
hold on.
I don't remember. That came out on PlayStation and
Soulstorm.
Soul Storm. Thank you. I knew it was one of those souls. That has not done especially well. So I know we're going to see it on Xbox soon. I always was an Oddworld fan. Again, it's not everybody's bag, right? It's just not.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
Oddworld back in the day was like revolutionary, and the humor in it was awesome. So, once Soulstorm comes, I'll go play it. But I'm glad Switch is getting the collection. Sounds like it's going to be a good time for those guys.
That's a fact. I grew up with Oddworld. I like the concept, the platforming. Like you said, it was
Yeah.
funny. Back when I was younger and that whatnot. Again, like kind of like you said too. I'm not into it anymore. I
Right.
mean, it's cool that it still exists and that there's people that are still hyped for it. There's people that still enjoy it. Personally, I'm just like, man, it's not my type of thing, but it is awesome again. Just to see it to continue to live on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where is
absolutely,
my
of course.
Sonic?
Of course. Hey! Sega came out and said they're looking at bringing the old stuff back again. So we've
Yeah.
got hope, brother. We've got hope.
Yeah.
That this is going to change and that Sega's going to put the money. They're seeing the money now in this industry right now. Steel.
I just
So
want
that's
to. I
another
just want a
topic.
remaster, man. That's all I want.
I know,
Remaster,
I know.
remake, something.
I want Sonic Adventure 3.
That's,
I want
that's,
Sonic
that's
Adventure
all I
3.
want. That's all.
That's
That's it.
all I'm asking for.
That's it.
Right, exactly. All right. See, now we're getting into another topic. All right. Hold on. The Idol Master Starlit
Okay.
season. I did not know they were actually still making Idol Masters. I know they're
Oh, really?
huge.
Okay.
I know they were huge in the East, especially. Idol Masters, karaoke style, rhythm games, right?
Yep.
But
That's
I
what
don't
it
know
is?
if this one, I don't know simulation rhythm music.
Yep.
Yep. So that's what this is. So Idolmaster's still out there plugging away, man, after all these years, decades, almost at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
PlayStation 4, PC, also May 27th. What a great day that May 27th is. If anybody didn't know, it's the greatest day in the calendar year. So there you go. I'm terrible this morning. The longest road on Earth. Never heard of this. It's PC only, May 27th. Looks like it has to do with animal characters. From Brainwash Gang is the developer and Raw Fury is the publisher. So any of you PC people out there, if you guys know what this is, in chat, if you want to say thumbs up, thumbs down, let us know. But the longest road on Earth looks interesting. Again, looks like animals in human form, I guess, and it looks kind of cool. So I don't know what that is going to be, but
I guess we're gonna find out.
we're gonna find out. Wonder Boy gets a new adventure. Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World. This looks like a little spin-off from the normal Wonder Boy. I'm not quite sure. I didn't even hear this was coming out. I do like Wonder Boy from back in the day, but again, no Xbox release on this one. But this one is coming out May 28th for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. And then we've got World's End Club coming out for Switch. I love World's End.
Okay.
I don't buy Nintendo products anymore. But my kiddo back in the day had a 3DS, and I played World's End on it.
Okay.
I love World's End. So this is from NIS is the publisher, which they do awesome kind of smaller JRPG style games. And well, they do a lot of things too, but again, they have a lot of different IPs underneath them that they publish. Love it. But World's End is a great series. And this new one is looking fantastic, and that's coming out for the Switch on May 28th. And that wraps up May. We don't have any more releases until June. So again, we are all set to go, but a great week of games coming out. And don't forget, Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries is also coming out this week. I don't know why it's not on this list. It should be. But that is coming out for well, I mean, it's already been out on PC, but the new expansion is hitting PC this week as well, and they're dropping it into Game Pass. I watched Mr. Tushi, shout out to Tushi Gaming, and I watched him play some of the PC version the other day. It looks, again, if you're into mechs, this is going to pull on the heartstrings. Mech Warrior has been around for a long time. They spun off Mech Assault, which was the more arcadish style. Steel, you had a great tweet about it. Why don't you tell them about your tweet?
Yeah, man,
you explained it perfectly.
It's something that I really want to be important, that I want to be known, and it's something that I want people to take very seriously, because I know a lot of people have this memory of Mech Warrior Vengeance, and it's an excellent game. It was on the original Xbox, one of the greatest mech games to come to console, per se, other than Armored Core and Titanfall that we now know.
Chrome Hounds.
Chrome Hounds also with the big stick. Was that? Is that the one with the big stick with the big joysticks and everything? No, that was I hate when I forget the name of that. Either way, I'm gonna come back to that. I don't want to sit here and get frustrated about the title of that. Not Chrome House. Chrome House is a good one too. Steel Battalion. There you go. There you go. That's the one you had the big stick, the big setup and everything. It's like you were actually you were in a mech. I thought that was the dopest thing.
I was always jealous of people that had that.
Oh, my father made sure that I don't know how he got it, but he made sure that he had it, and I took it over. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. We can get into it at some point. My overall point with the whole Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries thing is that it's not Vengeance, and I do not want anybody to expect it to be like Vengeance. It is not an arcade style game. It is very simulation based. Not to say that it's not easy to get into, but you have to have an understanding that it is, like the tweet that I wrote out is that Mech Warrior Vengeance is like Forza Horizon. Mech Warrior by itself, like the series itself, is like Forza Motorsport. And my meaning for that is one is an arcade style in Horizon, which is like MechWarrior Vengeance that came out on the console, and then the other one. Or MechAssault, my fault. MechAssault, that's the difference. Yeah. MechAssault and then MechWarrior. MechAssault is like Forza Horizon. Warrior is like Forza Motorsport. One's arcade, one's more simulation. If you get shot in the leg in MechWarrior, you are going to be immobile. You are not going to be able to move, and you cannot turn it off. It is a game mechanic. You know what I mean? And if you don't like that, if you want to just be able to, run around or whatever the case might be, this game is not going to be as easy to just jump in and out of as Vengeance might have been back in the day. Not to say that it's not going to be an excellent game, because I'm extremely hyped for it. It's something that I've been playing MechWarrior since early 2000s. Again, I've been online PC gaming since the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? So the last time I played MechWarrior was when Black Knight came out. So just to give you guys, and I believe that was MechWarrior 4, and it was the Black Knight expansion that came out. That's the last time I touched it, and to see it finally coming to console, I feel like it's going to be a magnificent thing, and also it's dropping into Game Pass. And I feel like if they get this, if it gets a lot of attention and it gets a lot of love, then they may want to continue to reiterate on it. Now, we'll see, who knows? Not a lot of people act like they're into mech games, but I would definitely suggest you to check MechWarrior out. It has a third-person option. It has a first-person option, depending on how you really want to get into it. But it's fully customizable from the weapons. Your weapons matter. Your weight matters. Your heat matters, because you'll build up heat. I know you've played some of y'all might have played, well, most of us have played games where you have this mechanic where, like, if you're on a turn or something and your turn overheats, MechWarrior has the same mechanics, except it applies to everything to the mech. And if you overheat, guess what? Your mech shuts down, and then you're just a sitting duck.
Trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. So it's a game where you got to find the perfect balance and everything. The fact that it's coming to console and it's bringing crossplay with it, I feel like it's going to get a lot of good numbers. It may reinvigorate the series, and that's what I'm excited about. Not only the reminiscent part of it, from playing it back in the day, but also seeing it finally come to console and seeing what people would think of it. So I'm excited for it, man.
Right.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and it's got campaign. Yes. It's got PvP.
Yes.
It's got 4-player co-op, which is freaking cool.
Is it 4-player?
Especially for game. 4
I thought
player.
It was only 2. Damn, that's dope.
Tushi brought it up because he checked it out before he quit his stream, and it's 4 players.
That's dope.
That is
dope. Yeah.
Fantastic. And we should mention that it's Game Pass for console only.
Yes.
Unfortunately, PC, you still got to buy it. So,
yeah.
But for all the console people out there who have been fiending for a mech game, again, Titanfall and Titanfall 2, scratch that itch a little bit. But
right.
For a real mech straight up game, we haven't had one on console for a very long time.
Yes.
That's why I am so hyped about this. I was watching Tushi play it, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait for this week.
Yeah, bro.
Like, looking at all the different weapons and the customization that you can do on the mechs too. Mind blowing, what I was seeing. So again, MechWarrior this week, Game Pass. Check it out. If you have any inkling about jumping into a gigantic robot and, stomping out tanks and helicopters and maybe even getting into some PvP, because you're going to see myself and Steel Rain out on that battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me. And if you don't see us, you're going to be feeling our lasers. You're going to be feeling our rockets. And you're going to be feeling our machine guns, because we're coming.
I don't know about you, Pong, but I'm going to make sure they feel that Gauss cannon I'm going to send across the map.
Ooh, now you're talking. Now you're going deep, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
If you don't know about mechs, people are like, Gauss cannon.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. You want a familiarity with Gauss? Go check out Halo. Halo has one of the best representations of what a Gauss turn is.
That's true.
And it feels just about the same in MechWarrior.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hell yeah, I remember Chrome House 108. We were just talking about that earlier. Hell yeah, love that. We love that game. Just to shout out some people in the chat real quick as we roll into this next topic. Into the first topic, I should say. We got 108 in here. Who else we got? We got PyCon Fusion. The guy Dirt Griggity, What's going on, people? We got Trevor in here. Matt Barnes popped in here. What's going on, people? Again, I believe we shouted out Casket Repair, Boogie, Trevor, Joe Dunmore.
The legendary Yobi is in the house.
Yobi is definitely in the house. Mr. Peace, Love, Life himself. Much love to y'all.
Reign of the Third Eye. Dutch is in here.
Keep it going.
Dutch.
Keep it going.
Oh, hell
Facts.
yeah. Back from the dead.
Much love. Much love. Man. Good to see y'all here. Glad that we can give y'all that octane that y'all need to get into your weekend. Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom is in the room.
Noof. Our morning show brother now.
Yes.
Because Noof has got his new show, Xbox Good Morning Xbox.
Good morning Xbox. Yes, sir.
Good morning Xbox tomorrow morning. So go check that out. He's got a great panel going over there. So yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic, man. We got so many beautiful people that show us love, Steele. I just can't believe it, man. Every Saturday.
My heart can't take all the love that you guys give us.
My heart's breaking. I'm gonna have to leave. I need to go get some Kleenex. Nah, but we love y'all. We love you.
That's hilarious. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're 45 minutes in. You got all your recent news, upcoming games. Did we talk about what games that we're even playing? I don't know.
We haven't done that yet.
Real quick.
Nope.
I haven't been able to get into too much this week. I did hop into some Knockout City. For those who haven't jumped into it, I believe it is free to play. Is it on Game Pass? It's on Game Pass. It's also
not free to play. It's not free to play.
Okay.
I think it's $20 or $30 for the game everywhere else. But if you got Xbox, congratulations, another winner.
Okay, so if you got Game Pass or if you have on PC, if you have EA Play Pro, over the case, it comes with that service also. Man, it's a fun game, bro. I was having a good, surprisingly, Dodgeball. I jumped into it for like an hour and 30 minutes last night, and man, it's a fun time. Just for everything that they're doing into it. It's simple. It's not over the top. And yeah, you can definitely see that there can be some skill gaps there once you start learning the game or whatever. But it's a good game. It doesn't seem overly, overbalanced or whatever the case might be. It seems very balanced, as far as I could tell so far. And I was having a good time with it, just for some fun. Playing dodgeball.
Steele, do you remember Okay, now I'm bringing you to your edge of your experience, Mr. Young Man.
Oh, yeah.
But you remember Super Dodgeball for the NES?
Super Dodgeball, man. I'm not good with trying to dig in my memory bank and remember games.
I know. I see all my older gamers in the chat. You guys remember Super Dodgeball for NES?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Me and I tormented my sister with that game. I made my sister sit down and play Super Dodgeball on NES with me, man. And I would just torture her. And she hated it, but she was a good sister. She came back and she'd play with me every single time. But Super Dodgeball on NES. Now this just looks like welcome to the future. Welcome to the present, I should say, but welcome to now kind of dodgeball. And I can't wait to actually jump into this. I was kind of lukewarm on it at first when I first saw it the first couple times, but then I saw that last video and I was like, okay, I actually do kind of want to play this. And now that it's in Game Pass and I know that there's going to be a lot of people playing it, I'm all down for this.
It's a fact. Now that I'm looking at the gameplay for it, it's very similar to Super Dodgeball for those who are familiar with that. Again, I don't remember playing the game. I might have from back in the day. I don't remember, but of course, it's very similar to that for sure. It's very, very reminiscent of that. And hey, man, again, it's in Game Pass. If you have EA Play Pro, check it out, man. It's an excellent game. So far, at least so far. But with that being said, Pong, there were some things that you wanted to get into early. One of the more fire topics that not everybody's really talking about. But it has to deal with Embracer Group. For those who don't know Embracer Group, they're out here buying up everything. Everybody was so concerned about what Microsoft may be doing, the monopolies and everything else. And when we were talking about monopolies throughout the week, one of the names that came up as far as how diverse the actual gaming industry is Embracer Group, who used to be THQ. So that's a very interesting topic. And not only that, another reason why it's interesting is that one of their more recent successes is Valheim, that has now hit over almost 8 million sales. I believe they're at about 7.8 right now. And for a game that came out of nowhere, it's seeming to be a smash hit. So go ahead, Pong. I know you wanted to dive into this a little bit.
Yeah, man. Hey,
on?
first, real quick too, reminder that coming up, we are going to be dropping the Mass Effect Legendary Edition code for Xbox. So you guys stick around. We're going to get that done during the show. So please stick around for that. And I just wanted to say that, you know what? I haven't had a chance to play a lot this week either, Steel, but Scarlet Nexus demo is out for all you Japanese RPG action lovers. Please go check out Scarlet Nexus. This game from Bandai Namco is gorgeous. I did actually get to jump into it last night a little bit and tried it out. The demo is about, you get to play both the female character and the male character.
Right.
You get to try out both sides. And it lasts for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how you play. But go check out Scarlet Nexus. There's an anime coming out along with this game. Both Steel and I are hyped about that as well. This looks like it could be something really good. I don't know if it's going to hit with everybody, but man, fool around with the camera settings, figure out what you like, what you don't like. There is some, some people are having some, conversations about whether or not the camera system is right, but you can adjust a lot of different things if you go into the options. But Scarlet Nexus, go check it out. Fantastic, fantastic game. I had so much fun. I played through the female side last night. Really, really good stuff. The action is fast. It is fast paced, but they lots of different combos you can pull off, a lot of stuff going on at all times. It does have a little bit of a learning curve to it from what I've seen. But you can pull off some crazy, crazy stuff in that game. So Scarlet Nexus, go check it out. That is coming out in July, right? Or June.
June. Yes,
June
comes out next
25th,
month.
I think it is. Yeah. So look forward to that. The demo is running, I think, until the end of this week, I want to say. So go check that out while it's available. Great, great looking game. New IP coming out of Bandai Namco. I cannot wait for this one. Otherwise, as far as Embracer Group, yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about here, right? So earlier in the week, we got word that Embracer Group is looking at 150 different new studios to purchase, possibly, right? And they are in serious talks with 20 of them at this moment. Okay, 20. They already own, I believe, over 50.
Is it 50?
Total. Yeah, I believe they're over 50 at this point. Like Steele was talking about, this is the old THQ Nordic. Their parent company is now Koch Media, Cook Media. Everybody says it kind of differently. Jeff Grubb even went with Koch Media, which is not, it's not that, but you know what? He went with that. So, but that's their parent company. A lot of money. Anybody who knows about Koch Media knows that they've got their hands in a lot of different industries, and they are a big group. And so we are talking about a lot of money. And ever since they obviously decided to go down this plan, they were going to buy up a bunch of smaller stuff. So THQ Nordic now is the umbrella for a lot of different developers. Okay. And as we talked about earlier, Experiment 101, Biomutant is one of them.
Yes.
And so the big deal is they also came out this week and talked about how they have, I think it's between 60 and 90 projects currently in the works for like, we're talking about soon. They're talking about like within the next year, right? And so what actually is, a lot of people don't like the word consolidation. A lot of people are fearful of consolidation. We've heard monopoly thrown around already by some not so smart people when it comes to Microsoft and what they're doing. Okay.
Yeah, facts.
I'm putting all this nicely because it is what it is. But at the end of the day, a lot of people get worried about the consolidation of the video game industry. Look, I don't necessarily like all of it. I don't want to see it get to the point where you've got 4 major players that control basically everything. I
Mhm.
don't think that's going to happen, number 1, because I think that the industry itself is far too large,
Mhm.
to ever have that happen. Um, but consolidation is going to happen whether we like it or not.
Has
Now,
to.
the good part about this stuff, all right, is something that we are seeing currently with Embracer Group. Okay, when you have these larger companies that are invested, okay, 100%. And again, we all know tomorrow it could stop and they could
Yep.
say we're out, right?
Yep.
And that's the scary part because then you've got all these teams underneath them that are now in limbo, like we're seeing over at WB with
Right.
what's going on with WB and AT&T.
Mhm.
And you've got all these talented people and these human beings whose jobs are now, not necessarily secure anymore, right? We know that
Right.
can happen. However, what the good side of things are is when you see a company like Microsoft, right?
Yes.
And they want to grow Xbox and they start acquiring all these devs. We've heard from the devs themselves that this frees them up to focus on making the games and being creative. It frees them up because they no longer have to worry about the money part of the situation. They
Exactly.
don't have to worry about hopping on planes and going and selling their IPs to companies, right? Which is a time consuming deal. We heard of the director from Experiment 101, Biomutant,
Yep.
talk about that in one of the interviews you were alluding to earlier, Steel. So we
Yeah.
hear about the time, the energy, the effort, the money that goes into making games. And when you have a big parent company over you that is invested in you,
Yes.
that believes in you, all of that goes away. And you
Pressure,
can
yeah.
just focus, yeah, you can just focus solely on making the best game that you can and your team can.
Facts.
So Embracer Group, now they are filling a need. Okay. Embracer Group, if you look at the list of stuff that they have, it is double A. And again, I don't like these labels, but it works when we're trying to discuss what's going on business wise.
And no,
They are
look,
filling they are
just
filling the
just
need.
just
Yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just
Yeah,
to kind of add on to what you were saying, as far as like
yeah, no,
double
go
A, per
go,
se
brother, you
games,
know.
Is one of those games that
Yeah,
it's probably going to be their first like kind of big game, I guess you could say. But even that
sure,
game still considered double A, but just as far as
yeah,
like it's a 20-man team and everything else, and kind of tying into also what you were saying, with them getting the support. I mean, the game director straight up said that if he didn't team up with THQ, he don't know where they would be in this process right
right,
now. He don't
right,
know. He
exactly,
doesn't know if this game would be coming out right now, if
right,
it still would exist. But when going to that double A point, they put out the Gothic remake, Desperados 3, SpongeBob
oh,
SquarePants, We Are Football,
tell them,
Elix,
tell them,
Darksiders, Wreckfest, Destroy
yep,
All Humans, Chronos, Spellforce, Kingdoms of Amalur,
yep,
MTX versus ATX. I know y'all remember that.
oh, yeah, oh, yeah,
Monster Jam, like, and the list goes on and on. These are the kind of games that they've been making, and so we know now. Not are they smash hits? No, but they are games that people do play and get very involved in, and get enveloped in. You know what I mean? But my
right,
fault. I didn't,
right,
I didn't interrupt you.
exactly. No, 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 thanks for adding all that because it's important that people hear that list. I'm glad you had that list in front of you, and like you were talking about Valheim, again, these games fill a role, and obviously, they Embracer Group has decided that this is their role that they're going to take on is the development of these double A kind of middle of the road style games. We don't always, we see the popularity of indie games now, right?
Right.
Indie games are blowing up, right? And then of course everybody wants the AAA home runs, right?
Yes.
That's what they want. And I'm not using the B word anymore, people, just so you know.
Bangers.
No, I'm not using that word anymore.
Don't
I'm
worry.
not.
I'll use it for you.
I committed to Mr. Badbit on Twitter that I would no longer use that word because I don't like it either.
Don't worry.
So
I'll use it.
AAA home runs, okay? We all want those big games as well. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But then the bulk of games, the majority of games are going to fall into the middle kind of sector,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's important that that sector is represented. And right now, Embracer Group, for lack of a better word, is embracing that role, right? They
Good,
are
good. I see
taking
what you did.
on. Yes, I know you would. They are taking on that parent role of all these middling kind of companies and these developers that want to make these games. They don't want to, maybe not have the full blown budgets of a triple A,
Right.
but are a little bit bigger than an indie studio. And we are going to see quality games. And you know what? They also see Steel, and this is really important when it
Hmm.
comes to Embracer. When you hear that they've got 60 to 90 different projects in the works, right? They see the profitability right now because they can get a game like Valheim come out, do almost 8 million in sales out of nowhere, and they
Hmm.
didn't have to invest in a lot. And then they see games like Wreckfest with maybe a little bit bigger budget than even Valheim.
Right.
What they see now is they see the subscription services taking over, brother. And you know what? The number one subscription service is right now, it's Game Pass.
Yeah.
And they see that they can drop a game like Wreckfest into Game Pass, and all of a sudden their engagement goes through the roof. All of a sudden their sales start climbing again,
Yeah.
right? When they drop that Wreckfest in there.
Hmm.
Guess what that means to Embracer Group? That means that they've got a vehicle for these middle of the road games, which back in the day would get lost a
Yeah.
lot of
Facts.
time, right? They would get crunched. They would get crunched by the triple A's, right? Or if they came out at a bad time when there was when one or two games were hitting huge, nobody would see it. And it would get lost. It would go away. It would do, hardly any sales, and IPs would die off, right? Embracer Group is coming in and saying, you know what? Microsoft, and these other places, like Steam,
Hmm.
obviously, that has a huge community, right? That they now have a place for these middle of the road games, right?
Yes.
Because we know Valheim started. I mean, Valheim's PC only, right? It's Steam,
Right. Yeah. Currently,
right?
yeah, I believe.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It blew up because of Steam. Because guess what? Now you've got these places that you can, these marketplaces where you can place these games. All of a sudden, they start gaining traction. Then
Right.
what happens? People start streaming them. And then
Yep.
it really starts taking off. And so Embracer Group sees this and says, you know what? This is a good investment. And we're going to see this more and more from this. Obviously, again, they're in talks. They're talking about
Yeah.
150 different. So again, the monopoly talk, again, let's put that to rest. Okay. Again, nobody realizes how giant this industry is.
Facts.
And only people only want to see the big giant acquisitions like Microsoft and ZeniMax, right?
Hmm.
I mean, that's all they see. And they, oh, what's going on? They start hand wringing, right? They start, oh, wow, Microsoft is buying up everything. No, they're not. They just happen to buy a large publisher that has a bunch of IPs, right? Of
Right.
extremely popular IPs. But my God, this industry is huge. Embracer Group's over here quietly, all of a sudden over 50 development teams, right? And now talking about buying 150 more. Again, that's not going to happen. But I'm saying that the mere fact that they even came out with that number shows you that they're not worried about the monopoly talk, right?
Right.
So let's put that all to rest. This is just pure consolidation. The industry is gigantic. What happens is as these companies get brought underneath an umbrella like Embracer Group or like Xbox, what's going to happen is new teams are going to form up.
Yes.
New people are going to fill in that back end, right? This is the ebb and flow, and this is why this is good. There's always going to be room for more talent in this industry, no matter what, at the end of the day. Now, the big one I wanted to kind of talk about and touch on with Embracer Group is, and why I think this is so important, is that we heard this week, and this is a dream come true for me. So again, guys, I'm passionate about this. I love this industry, but we all have a list of games or IPs that have dropped off the face of the planet that we remember fondly, that are near and dear in our heart, that we wish would come back,
Right.
right? Whether it's Twisted Metal,
Yep.
right? Whether it's Legacy of Kain, right? Which we could talk about later a little bit. We could touch on that
Okay.
small topic,
Hell yeah.
but Legacy of Kain, right? There's all these different IPs that we remember, that
Hmm.
we loved, that disappeared off the face of the planet. Guess what? Because we are coming into the golden age of gaming, And this is something that I was hoping to see when we started seeing how much money is coming in right now and how invested these companies are and how many different people and new talent we have rolling up in here,
Yes.
that people were going to start grabbing the older IPs that have been languishing for too long, far too long, that still have a place. That I think personally, that I think is good that they come back. We all love new IPs,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when an IP's been dead and gone, like Perfect Dark is a great example, right? Perfect Dark has been dormant for so long that basically is a new IP. There is a whole generation of people who probably have never heard of Perfect Dark, right?
Right.
So it basically is a new IP at this
Mm-hmm.
point. Embracer Group announced this week that they are putting back together Free Radical.
Mm.
Anybody who is an older gamer knows about Free Radical. Free Radical
Talk to 'em.
was a great developer. Again, during another heyday of video games, right? During the PS2 era, right? The PS2 era was a huge era for gaming as well, right? Remembered fondly. There was tons of content, like tons. Go look at the list of PS2 games. It's mind-blowing how many were actually released during that time frame. But Free Radical was a developer who came up with a absolutely ridiculous, fantastic
Mm-hmm.
first person shooting IP back in the day called Time Splitters.
Uh-oh.
And
Tell me.
Embracer Group has walked in. The history of this is crazy. Go look it up. I was going to do the history, but there is so much convoluted talk out there. It's crazy to try to
Yeah.
pick through it, but go look at it. Time Splitters, pure and simple, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, you'd be surprised if you go out there for the people who remember it, was the best first person shooter on PlayStation 2. Okay. It was the best first person shooter. It brought in elements that we are seeing today blow up like Battle Royale.
Yes.
I believe it probably was the first. I could be completely wrong. And I know there's probably video game historians out there that'll prove me wrong. But I believe that Time Splitters was the first game to introduce the type of like a battle royale mode when you look at it.
Okay.
This game, I spent so many hours in split screen co-op, sitting around with the boys playing. It's ridiculous. This game, go look at the videos. It's hard to explain. This game is a first person shooter in the most ridiculous, drug induced type of environments that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like they had the craziest stuff. Like the character selection alone in this game, right? You can be a gingerbread man for God's sakes if you want to. There was a mode where you could run around as snowmen with flamethrowers trying to melt each other. There's another mode
That's
where you're
funny as hell.
sniping monkeys carrying, I believe it's watermelons, if I remember correctly. You're trying to snipe as many monkeys as possible.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
And then they had the classic straight up modes as well, right? You know, you had your classic multiplayer modes as well, but all in split screen. But Time Splitters is an IP that number one, number two, were huge for what it was, right? It wasn't like a commercial, like, oh my God, this is the next Halo type thing.
Mhm.
But anybody who played Time Splitters loved it. And they spread the word, and it actually did pretty well.
Okay.
And then there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole, there's so much craziness with the series. The series, you can actually, the code, not even get into that. It's crazy. Okay. Go look it up. Time Splitters is insane.
Yeah.
But it's been lying dormant for so long. I want to stay on topic. It's been lying dormant for so long. And there was rumor after rumor of it coming back. People tried to bring it back. There was, Kickstarter, all kind of crazy stuff. And it never happened. But Embracer Group has come in and now has the IP and says, you know what? We're going to get the old band back together again. They are trying to bring back they're trying to get as many of the former members as possible. And there's a bunch of them already a part of this team. And obviously they're going to add other people as well.
Right.
But they brought back and reformed Free Radical. And they are now announced that they're going to do Time Splitters.
That's dope.
This is the good part about this consolidation. Without this happening, we would never have another Time Splitters. And again, for anybody who doesn't know Time Splitters, it's no big deal to you guys. It's another game coming out, right? Another first-person shooter. We don't even know what they're going to do with it, right?
Facts.
But at the end of the day, me and for everybody else who played Time Splitters, this is freaking out of this world news. And we would never have it without a group like Embracer Group doing what they do, filling this role as a parent company of these smaller studios, not necessarily AAA studios, but who knows, we may get some AAA stuff out of this.
Yeah.
But right now, the AA stuff. And that is the content that is going to be feeding services like Game Pass. They're licking that, this is a match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Phil and his team is looking at Embracer Group going, yeah, you guys are going to give us that Game Pass goodness. We're going to be able to fill up month after month with the games you guys are talking about, right? Month after month. And Embracer Group's going, yep, and you got that money.
You already know.
You got that money, and you know what? Let's go ahead and shake hands right now, because this is going to be a good partnership. That's exactly what's happening here. So I'm excited for it. It's awesome. I love it.
Facts. And just to throw in some, because you basically knocked that entire topic out the park. Hit plenty of home runs. But just to fill in some factoids, I kind of want to bring in. Let's see if I can get it to come up, man. This whole thing with the Embracer Group. Yeah, I do want to bring that up. There it goes. I was able to get it to come up. Basically, what's going on is that I wanted to bring this little bit of tidbit of information in, just because I feel like it's important, man. Hopefully y'all can see that on screen. Maybe you can't, but hopefully it's working out. Look, this is from PlayStationLifestyle.com. And it's just a good and it's an overall solid site. I've used some sources from them before, but this is some of the things just to provide some context behind what Embracer Group is trying to do. Despite the large number of projects already in development, Embracer isn't satisfied. They've raised a massive $2 billion in available cash, including a large chunk from investors. That can be used for further acquisitions of development studios. In just the last 3 months alone, they've been talking to more than 150 companies in hopes of bringing them into the fold. Right now, they're in late-stage talks with over 20 of those companies. And Embracer co-founder and CEO Lars Wingefors, sorry if I said his name wrong, explains why. He says it for this reason. Now listen, because everything that Pong was talking about basically fits into this quote, and it's part of the reason I wanted to bring this in before we kind of wrap this whole thing. Well,
so you're saying I wasn't lying?
No, okay. Yeah, we got to make sure the people know that you speaking facts, speaking bars. We have more market demand-driven opportunity via innovative concepts, dormant IPs, licenses, and other business opportunities than we have the development capability to execute. So basically, they're saying that we have so many concepts and different things that we could do, but we don't have the development housing to do all of this. So we're just getting stuff in. Thus, the ambition is to further expand our creative engine through increased headcount, both organically through scaling up existing studios and also adding by new talented studios to the group. So they're going to also bring people in, but I'm pretty sure they're going to also cut some deals, like you were saying, Paul, with Microsoft, maybe with Sony, cut those, third-party deals to make some money up in the back end. This is going to be the last part that I read because I also feel like it's important. During the last fiscal year, the company invested over, around $241 million into the development of games. Interestingly, Wingefors claims that the fees paid to platform holders on Steam and consoles for hosting their digital titles are at least twice that amount. That is insane to think about. He states that the company will continue to challenge the paradigms in the hopes that they can reduce costs in the future. Bro. What Embracer Group is trying to do is just, again, like Pong was saying, bring a lot of these dormant IPs, a lot of the things that y'all might have forgot about, a lot of things that are in the background, maybe people that didn't have opportunities to bring games out the way they wanted to, and they're basically collecting them. They're saying, hey, we want to be able to, we're see where gaming is going, and we want to be part of that movement. And Like, and just based off of everything Paul was saying, again, I want to correct myself with the Valheim thing. It's 6.8 million, almost 7 million copies, not 8 million copies. I try to give them an extra
It might be
million.
there by now.
Yeah,
it might be there by now.
Maybe.
The way that thing's growing.
So just to think, and that's just their more recent, that's their most recent success. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to say. So they obviously got some things going on. They obviously see that they can be very involved and maybe even cash in with a lot of the game development that is going on now, especially going into this generation. There's going to be so many things that weren't possible before, like Time Splitters, for example. Time Splitters was cool back in the day or whatever the case. I never got into it, but my fiance, my wife
Shame
did.
on you.
And because she, you know, we were talking about it earlier in the background, and she was like, "Yeah, I remember playing Time Splitters. I played 2. I don't remember 1, but I played 2, and it was fantastic." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's dope." And then, you know, you go and you watch some videos, get familiar with it. And I do remember the game. I just don't remember playing it. What they could do with that today is unlimited potential. And it's just one of those things, again, you know, being able to bring those old pieces of art to life again with whoever the designer got to be is what we're looking for. So it's exciting news, man. And Paul, you pretty much hit all those notes out of the park. And yeah, man. So that's excellent. All right. So as we continue to move forward, man, we got some fantastic people here. I would like y'all to hit that like button, share it out, tell a friend, tell a buddy, go outside and yell out at your neighbor and tell them to tune into Living Split Screen in the morning every Saturday with their coffee in hand, their lunch in hand, just depending on what time it may be for them personally, and say, hey, if you like overall game talk and you want to know what's going on with the industry, maybe you just like to hear some energetic guys just kick back and just talk facts and be authentic, tell her to come find us, man. We're here giving that live, raw, and uncut energy, as I like to say. And man, only we know how to do it, as only we can do. So with that being said, we're about almost, I don't want to say we're an hour in at this point. I was off of my 45 minutes because I forgot we went about 15 minutes live because I like to, people said they liking the music, so I wanted to bring it up early so people could jam out. I think you need to contact Rob Zombie for some theme music. But shout out to Graphic God. But we're getting ready at some point here shortly. We might do it after this next topic, depending on how you feeling, Paul. Where we're getting ready to drop Mass Effect Legendary Edition for the Xbox. If you're live in chat right now, that is the only way that we're going to be able to tell whether you're here or not, because we're going to do it by the participants that are on YouTube. So if you're in our chat and you're writing out and everything, hey, tell us, say, hey, what's going on, so that YouTube knows that you're involved and that you're here. At least say, hey, you guys suck, or say, hey, you guys are awesome. At least say something. Hit the like button so YouTube knows you're involved. So when we hit this, random name generator, this will be the first time of us doing it. So hopefully it all goes well. When we hit this random name generator, for everybody that's currently participating in our chat right now, we'll be able to get a code to somebody that'll be well worth it, and hopefully it's fair. So with that being said, as we roll into our next couple of things, what you want to get into next, Paul? There's a couple different ways we could go. I chose to get into, started off with the Embracer. What do you want to start? What do you want to roll into?
Hey man, do you want to hit Biomutant?
Let's do it.
You want to go down that
Let's
road?
Do it.
You want to
Let's
do it?
Might as well. Okay. This might take another hour to show up, but
let's find out.
It needs to be talked about. It's important.
There's a lot to talk about.
Biomutant. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Biomutant is seemingly becoming a very popular game. It's getting a lot of attention, a lot of hype. The developers seem very confident. They've put out gameplay for every platform, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, so that you can have a full understanding of what kind of game that you're going to get. So even if you don't have Game Pass, even if you don't have EA Play Pro Plus, or whatever the case might be, you know exactly what kind of investment that you're making. It is an action RPG game, using furry customized characters that are taking hints from like the games like Devil May Cry, with some RPG components. I believe kind of like, what game did they compare? Fable and Breath of the Wild. The Breath of the Wild, because I was going to say Skyrim, but no, it's more like Fable. They said it's like a Breath of the Wild, Fable, Devil May Cry kind of game, as far as like combat, the story beats, and just the overall how the game is set up. But that's not what the smoke is. Let's say the smoke is, and the issues that we're finding out, and it's not necessarily an issue for me or whatever the case might be, and I don't think it's that big of a deal overall, is the heat that Biomutant is getting and the disrespect that the devs are seemingly getting, because fortunately or unfortunately, I guess depending on how you want to look at it, Biomutant is going to be playing at 4K 60, 4K native 60 on the Series X consoles. It is also going to be doing, I believe, 1080p 60 on the Series X, on the Series S, sorry, and the Xbox One X. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be 1080 30, or maybe they may be able to do 1440p 4K, some kind of up-resing on the older gen consoles. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, they're saying that it's because of technical reasons that you're only, if you have a PlayStation 5, you're going to be playing the game at 1080p upscaled to 4K 60 frames on the PlayStation 5. Now, a lot of people have been going kind of back and forth with this, not only within our Twitter community, because again, I want people to understand that our Twitter community is basically a small bubble of everything else that goes on a wide scale, as far as gaming goes overall. I know people try to downplay, oh, it just happens in our community. No, it doesn't just happen in our community. It's on the Facebook communities, it's in the Reddit communities, it's on our Twitter communities. It's everywhere. People have a similar mind about this. We've seen people say, "Oh, well, that's the fact that you have it set up like that. That's a missed opportunity, and I'm not buying your game. That's a failure on your part as a dev." I feel like it's kind of crazy, because it's like, who are you to tell the dev what they can and cannot do, or they didn't put enough work in, or they're not dedicated, they didn't work hard enough? Who are you to tell these devs that? But what's amazing to me, though, is the fact that THQ Nordic has taken the horns, because the dev hasn't even had to come out and say anything. The dev themselves, THQ Nordic, has come out and stood in front of the dev and said, "Look, you are not about to sit here and downplay these devs and talk all this smack. If you don't like the game, that's one thing. If you're not interested, that's one thing. But if you're going to give constructive criticism, that's something completely different, and that's more important." So with that being said, with all this smoke and all this back compat talk, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Not only back compat, but how these systems are set up. Because to me, because the games were technically made off of the last gen consoles, they haven't got their next gen, I'm gonna say patches, but their next gen versions yet. And the dev has said, "Oh, the next gen versions are coming. We're a 20-man team. We're working on it, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. If you want to wait for the next gen version, do your thing. But why would you want to wait when you could play the game at 4K native on your Xbox Series X?" So it's like, either way, you're not missing. The only thing you're probably missing on is a chance to play 120. That's the only, like, how much better can you get? Or a more consistent 4K if we want to be so concerned with it. So Pong, I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it, and how you're feeling overall about the kind of smoke that Biomutant is getting, the the issues that are apparently becoming more and more prevalent as we're moving further. See, we're 6-7 months in, half a year in to these new console generations, and we're continuously finding out, because again, I need y'all to take this in very high consideration. PlayStation got on their stage and said, "Oh, back compat, it was done masterfully. We teamed up with AMD and our backwards compatibility was done masterfully." And we're coming to find out that it was actually done very, it's kind of incompetent in very many shapes, forms, and sizes that we're coming to find out. Again, PlayStation said that they're going to support their console, their current gen consoles within the PlayStation 4 for at least 3 years. We're only halfway into that first year. Xbox said we're going to do at least 2. So, with that being said, there's games that are still coming out on current gen consoles, your Xbox Ones and your PlayStation 4s, and will continue to come out until we get around that 2 to 3 year mark. So, my question is, Paul, what is going on, man? Why are people upset? Is there a reason to be upset? And how do you feel about overall about this entire Biomutant situation, as far as, and this is just one example, because there's been other examples too, but since this is an upcoming game and we have some hype for it, how do you feel about what's all going on with the smoke and everything?
Oh, it's garbage. I mean, number one,
Okay.
I mean, again, do you have the right to be upset? Of course you have the right to be upset, but not with the developers. Okay, this goes back to this is on Sony and their decision to do what they did, or not do, I should say, as far as backwards compatibility goes, and in preparing for the future. Look, it's just a fact that Xbox has gone out of their way.
Mm-hmm.
They prepared for this for years and years and years, right?
Yes.
The inevitability, right? At some point, they knew, they had the vision that they wanted to make backwards compatibility a priority. They wanted to allow us to carry our games forward, our catalog forward,
Right.
as we moved from generation to generation. Okay, that was a strategic, thought out move.
Mm-hmm.
Sony found no importance in that, right? Or
No,
little to no importance in that, right? They didn't think about that, or maybe they didn't want to put the resources into it. Again,
it was obvious.
this is big. This is, again, Sony ain't hurting for money, but again, this is big bank versus little bank. Okay, this is what this allows you to do, is to think this far ahead and to prep this stuff out,
Mm-hmm.
and to go ahead and move in the direction where you feel that you want your customers to have access to their old games. Why
Right.
that's important is because then you start thinking about things, and why this is related to Biomutant and any other game that is going to be on last gen as well, or run last gen versus current gen, next gen, whatever you want
Right.
to call it. At this point, is because they put systems in place when they brought out the 1X. They started telling developers, "Hey, keep your frames unlocked. We're going to be focusing on 120 frames." Yeah, we know the 1X can't do it, right? We know the
Right.
1X can't do it, but we're thinking about down the road. So when you're developing a game, we want to make sure that this is in there for the future, because our next iteration of consoles are going to have the ability, and we want these games, when they come forward, to be able to be even better, or in this cross-gen kind of area we are right now, where we're getting mixed games, right? We're getting games that are both last gen and next gen.
Yes.
We want it to be easy for our hardware to take advantage of those situations, right? So they thought about this. So that's all this is, right? This
Yes.
is at the end of the day. And now, others have suggested as well that maybe, the tools that, everybody makes fun of are growing, right? We know that they're starting to mature.
Yeah.
Xbox is updating them, and now developers are finding it even easier when doing this kind of cross-gen stuff, to get the performance out of the series consoles
Yes.
with these games, right? They're finding it easier to work with, versus when we first saw, the first wave of games come out, and PlayStation 5 was performing better than the series consoles were. So again, people have a right to be disappointed. I understand. I get it. It's not like this game looks, like complete crap on the PlayStation 5. If you watch the videos, the game looks fantastic. Now, if
Yeah.
you aren't happy with the performance. If you are one of those people that have, an OLED that does 4K, that does 120, that does 60, flawlessly, and you don't think that you want to play this game at 1080, well, the developers already came out and confirmed that they're doing a next gen version. Okay.
Yep.
So then you're just going to have to wait. Period. But there is no reason to go and attack a developer. I don't care. You know what?
Never a reason.
I said last night, because they're smaller, there is no reason to attack a developer ever.
Period.
Okay, period. I don't care if it's CD Projekt Red, or I don't care if it's Experiment 101, right? Or I don't care if it's Joe of Song of Iron someday, right? I don't care what size of team we're talking about, right? You have no reason to attack people unless these people come out and say, "Hey, all you gamers are stupid. You guys don't get it, and we don't care what we give you."
Yeah,
okay.
Facts.
Well, then
Fuck you and your opinion.
Then go.
We're gonna put out whatever the fuck we feel like. Yeah, come on.
Right, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Again, there's a difference between constructive criticism and getting down the road that we saw with Biomutant, that we saw with Cyberpunk.
Facts.
And again, Cyberpunk was on another level. People, they did lie. It was bullshit, but it was not the developers. It was the upper management.
That's
okay, but you guys.
Yeah.
Right. It was the publisher, it was the upper management team, it was all those people, right?
Yep.
The developers themselves had nothing to do with that stuff, right? So to go personally attack anybody, to go and call a game trash or whatever the case you want to say, just because the specs on the last gen version don't necessarily give you good feelings on your next gen console. There's no reason to go attack a dev in any way, shape, or form. You can sit there, you can say, "Hey, I'm just not going to buy the game." That's fine. Go ahead, that's fine. Speak with your wallet. If you aren't happy with it, speak with your wallet. I'm always for that.
Yeah.
Do it. There is no reason to go underneath there and start saying this is lazy development or this is people just not caring. All that kind of garbage. There is no place for that. And
it's
again,
corny.
It's corny, Steele. And I was just going to say, this is something that you and I talked about. We've talked about behind the scenes a lot as well, is that there is still a stigma about video games and video game gamers in general.
Yes.
There's still a stigma. Yes, it has gone mainstream. Yes, it has become probably the biggest form of media content, whatever you want to call it, at this moment in time. We've seen the numbers, right? And yeah, it could be partly due to the pandemic, fine, but doesn't matter. Compared to where we were just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, video game industry has exploded. It is now mainstream, right? With nearly 3 billion players around the globe. If you count all the mobile players and everything else, which I do, they're still gamers. So again, this has become mainstream, but there's a reason why people still side-eye it. There's a reason why not everybody comes out and says, "I'm a gamer," right? It's gotten better. There's still a reason why. And part of that reason is why what we see from the community, a small but very vocal portion of the community that happens to show up anytime that they have whatever it is, whether it's their feelings, whether they feel slighted, whether they get jaded about something, whatever the case may be, they get wrapped up in their feelings and they decide to show up and take it out on other people. And those other people happen to be developers. Those other people happen to be publishers. Those other people happen to be just human beings who are, if you think that anybody goes to their job as a game developer and says, "You know what, I'm going to make a shit game today because I want to piss off a bunch of people."
No.
You are crazy, okay? That is not what happens here, okay? If you don't think the developers are prideful in what they're doing, sure. Are there some that probably kick back? There's people in every industry out there that work, that don't take their job seriously, that whatever, lazy, it doesn't matter, all that. But again, at the end of the day, if you think that the majority, we're talking like 95% plus of the people that are in this industry aren't here to make the best damn game that they can possibly do, I don't know what to tell you anymore.
Right.
Just because a game comes out not meeting your expectations, yes, you can speak with your wallet. Yes, you can certainly give criticism. Constructive criticism is well received by most people who are trying to create something, whether you're writing, whether you're developing, it doesn't matter. Most people will receive constructive criticism. Well, and they will take it to heart because most people want to know what they're doing well and what they're not doing well so they can get better at it.
Right.
Especially when you're trying to create something that you want people to love and enjoy. Most people want to hear that kind of talk. What they don't want to hear is you're just lazy or Microsoft paid you off to make this game worse on PlayStation 5.
Right.
That completely disrespects all the work that they put in, all the love that they put in, especially when you look at a game like Biomutant.
Yeah.
And this 13 person team that started, now 20-person team that has had this vision for nearly 7 years and finally is putting it out into the world. And they not only are putting it out in the world, but they are giving you up front. They are telling you, hey, we're going to show you what this looks like on each and every system.
Yep.
And we're going to give you the specs so you can make the decision that you want to.
How
Right?
often do you get that information nowadays?
Correct. And they're saying, hey, this is what our game's going to be. You decide if you want to get it, but also know we are going to have a next gen version. We're just not ready to talk about it, but we are going to work on it and we are going to get that done. Right.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to hold off, Don't mind us.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine.
Facts.
Don't buy the game now. That's cool. Don't worry about it. They're giving you all the information up front. Like you said, Steel, kudos has to go out to THQ Nordic. They came in the way a publisher should come in when this happens. Right now, I feel Sony, again, I know Sony turns a blind eye to what happens in the community a lot of times, and they act like they don't see what happens in the community. I know that for sure that Sony has people that watch Twitter just like Xbox does. They're just not involved like Xbox seems to be when we obviously know Phil and Aaron Greenberg and everybody, they're so active in the community. We see them. We don't see Sony that way, but I know for a fact part of their marketing team has to be involved in social media and watching and seeing what's going on.
Yes.
And I'm sure other elements of their company are as well, because it's important. Nowadays, social media is a lot of things to a lot of different companies, but it is vital when you want to kind of test the waters, or you want to feel, try to get a read on the pulse of what's going on. Social media is a place that you go to. Now, is it always accurate? No, but I know that they're watching, and I know that they've seen what happened here. I can guarantee you they've seen what happened here. This is one of their partners in THQ, right? That they're partnered. Again,
they're partnered up.
At the end of the day, they're partnered. And for them not to come out and say something like, hey, just give an explanation that this is a part of, this is just because, backwards compatibility, is not the same. All right. It doesn't work that way. For them not to come out and say that, I think is disgraceful. But again, my point was THQ Nordic, props to you guys. You guys moved up in my ladder of respect, right?
Yeah.
You guys moved up as far as publishers go. HQ, you guys moved up, man, because look, they did exactly what was right. They didn't let it linger. They came out immediately that they saw it start happening and laid it down and laid down the hammer, put some people in their places, which need to happen. Oh, absolutely. I was loving every minute of it. And I wish that these people would just be ostracized because, again, the small vocal minority in this community on both sides, all sides, I don't care. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, PC.
Both,
these people that want to preach this garbage, look, ostracize them. Don't interact. Don't retweet them. Don't do any of that garbage. Let them scream in the void, right? Because that's the only way that they're going to go away, because they feed off of all kinds of energy. THQ came out right away and laid the smackdown on a bunch of them, said, their responses were on point, classic, on point stuff. Classic.
It was great.
Props to the social media manager, because again, they get it. Right? I'm seeing more and more companies that get it, but they got it right. They had the perfect responses for each and every time. And they pointed out the fact that it was, some of the Xbox community was taking the moment to go ahead and rub, king of
the castle, I'm your king.
Right.
Look at us.
rubbing some of the PlayStation guys, noses in it, because that happens, and it just feeds into that whole thing that we see all the time. Again, shout out to THQ Nordic for handling their business, for protecting their developer, which is exactly what you were talking about, Steel. In the creative directors, Stefan, I can't remember his last name, I can't pronounce it. But his interview that he did, where he talked about why it was so important to have THQ as that kind of overarching umbrella for them in so many different ways. And one of the points he made was when they decided to join THQ Nordic, that THQ Nordic just took over everything for them.
Yep, they
Basically,
didn't have to worry about nothing.
they didn't have to worry about anything other than developing the game.
Yep.
All the social media was handled by them. All the marketing was handled by THQ Nordic. All that stuff, right? And this is one of those good things that we were just talking about. When you have a large parent company that is engaged, invested in what you're doing, this is what you can see happen. They stepped in. They put up the shield. They said, "Nope, this is what's happening." Great. You guys want to talk like this? So be it. Go ahead, talk like this. We don't care. We don't want your money anyways. Go ahead. That's fine. We'd rather have you not spend your money here than have you upset at the game. So
Trash
go
our
ahead and
game.
just
Yeah, facts.
and just reinforce the fact, hey, by the way, there's going to be a next gen version, by the way. So,
Yeah.
maybe you'll be happy with that version when it comes out. We hope to see you then, right? That's basically what they were doing. So I just think at the end of the day, when you look at what happened here, it's just another example of where the community goes wrong. And again, I say community, I mean just a small portion.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but it does reflect on the greater community because people don't see all the good stuff that happens. Of course, as we know, everybody loves the negative, everybody loves the drama, everybody loves that garbage. We see it in TV, we see it. It doesn't matter where you're at. That's part, and social media is like the epitome of all of that, right? So people only see this garbage. They
Yeah.
don't see all the good stuff that goes on. They don't see all the people raising money for important causes. They don't see any of that stuff. All they see is, oh, look, the gamers are at it again. They're just attacking the devs. And of course, the articles are written about it. All that stuff it goes right down the line. And that's what we don't need as a community.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I will say this, Steel.
Mm-hmm.
The counter reaction to the reaction is absolutely a thing of beauty, not only from THQ Nordic, from the people within the community that said, you know what, this is a bunch of bullshit. What are you guys doing? Guess what? I'm going to buy 2 copies now. Just because you a-holes came in here and tried to ruin this.
Yeah, that's a fact.
This cool development team. Experiment 101.
Yeah.
And guess what? Word of mouth started spreading real fast about that. And all of a sudden it became a thing. All of a sudden Biomutant's trending everywhere. Right? They're getting that publicity. Now, again, I'm not a 100% believer in all press is good press, right? You can have some bad, the cyberpunk press was not good. For CD
not
Projekt.
at all. Not at all.
And it didn't help them sell games. They still had a great sell, but they sold over almost 14 million copies, but I'm sure that would have been 20 million without the press. So I'm not a big believer in all press is good press. But in this case, because negative reaction was so toxic and so awful, the reaction to that was so powerful that it pushed Biomutant out further into the mind share of people, because all of a sudden people who weren't paying attention to Biomutant
are paying
now
attention.
we're seeing Biomutant, and they were like looking at it, and I saw people like, look, I wasn't even checking out this game beforehand, but I just watched a bunch of videos on it because of all this stuff going on. And now I pre-ordered it because this game looks incredible. Right. So that kind of, right. Exactly. So good for Experiment 101, good for THQ Nordic and Embracer Group. I hope this game blows up even more now. And I hope it becomes a runaway success, which I think it has the potential to, just because of the quality, not because of this stuff. This is going to blow up because the quality that the team has put into this game. And that's what I see. But, shout out to the rest of the community who showed up and stepped in as well and said, guess what? Now I'm going to make it my mission to make Biomutant a success, because you a-holes want to try to tear it down for no good reason whatsoever. So guess what? I'm going to support this even more now. So
Yeah,
That was the good turnaround.
And that's 100% a fact. I pretty much agree with everything that you said, man. When I first seen Biomutant, this had to be almost a year ago at this point. I was extremely hyped for it. I was already invested. Like just the concept of being able to create your own furry character. I'm a cat lover. I'm a pet lover. I love dogs too. But being able to just create your own custom furry character and completely custom. I'm talking about and you got different class options, the different weapon options, the combat system, just all of it was looking extremely appealing to me. Like you were saying too, man, it's extremely sad to me that we continue to attack devs for the work that they do when they spend. I don't think there's any dev, and y'all can try to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll stand by this. I don't believe there's any dev who works on a game for 3+ years and says, "Oh, it's we're just working on something just to put it out." Unless you're Call of Duty. That's you know what I'm saying? And some EA teams and some sports, devs and whatnot who make constant reiterations and give you the same mess over and over again.
That's a formula, right, Steel? Right. That's just like a formula type game.
But even then, yeah, like you were saying, that's more of a formula thing, right? For as far as like we get these new games or and whatnot, and people are trashing devs and trying to tell devs what's possible and what's not possible. I do not get the concept of you being somebody that's at home that has never worked on games, trying to tell a dev that, oh, you didn't work hard enough. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And you wonder why people think that we're people that are gamers are corny. Like, we have to get out of this shell that we always try to retract to. And that's not everybody. There's plenty of people out there who like to speak positively, but there's more so, because what is extremely prevalent is people that just want to see shit lose, that don't want to see the greatness and the potential and the care that a lot of these games get. The devs from Cyberpunk didn't want Cyberpunk to get all the smoke that it got. And guess what? The people that actually played Cyberpunk and had an open mind about it said it was a solid game. Yeah, it had its issues. Yeah, the game should have got pushed back. But guess what? The people up top, like you were saying, Pong, and the publisher was like, look, we got to get this shit out. And guess what happened? Now you look at that entire team differently. And that is very unfortunate. And you wonder why people within the industry don't stay within the industry that long. What they were saying that, typically most devs don't survive. No, well, I'm not gonna say survive, but don't stay in the industry longer than 5 years. 5 years. Early graves
now, Steel?
No early grave. No early grave. Wrong term, but
not that rough.
But it's one of those things where devs typically stay in the industry for 5 years and then they look for a different avenue, a different place to go, because they dedicate time, energy, effort, time away from their families and everything to work on this experience, for it just to get pushed out like it's trash, like it's just some something on the shelf at Walmart. And no downplay to Walmart. Shout out if y'all want to give us some promos or whatever the case might be. But if it's like you're pushing it out like it's just some great value product and nobody's supposed to care about it. Again, there's too many people who aren't confident in themselves and what they stand for as gamers, and that's part of the problem. The fact that nobody knew the difference between, of course you could see the difference between 1080 and 4K, but nobody really knew what the difference was until places like Digital Foundry and places like Linus Tech Tips and places like that, or Gamers Nexus or Jay's 2 Cents actually demonstrate to you the frame differences and things. Nobody else was talking.
Expert.
And now everybody's an expert about it. Look, Biomutant could have came out 1080p, upscaled to 4K, and you would have never known the difference if they never would have said anything about it. Yeah, you would have probably looked at YouTube videos and then like, damn, why does one look more clear than the other one? And then you could have put 2 and 2 together and be like, okay, maybe it's upscaled to 4K, or maybe you just don't know enough to even care. Your typical consumer is not going to care. But the typical consumer is going to care about the negativity, the slander, as we like to call it, that gets put out into the universe about the game. Because now people when they start researching and everything, they're like, oh, well, it's downscaled and it's doing all this. And you're putting a bad light on a game that seemingly is going to be an excellent game or a solid game overall. I'm not going to say it's going to be excellent, but it's seemingly.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to say excellent, because you're excellent setting a very, very high bar. But it's seemingly looking like a solid experience, a game that is very different to other games that have come out. But to have similarities to Breath of the Wild, Fable. Those two games are by themselves. Zelda and then Fable? Do you hear the conversations that are already getting put around this game? Of where they got their ideas from, or where they're picking ideas from, and then to throw Devil May Cry in there when as far as like combat goes, I'm a heavy combat experience guy. I'm all about combat. The fact that you can mix it up with not only the gunplay and the sword play and customizing your weapons and really outfitting your character, the light and the dark is where their Fable side comes in. And then the narratives, being able to take the narratives in different directions is such an excellent thing to me. It's a great concept, and I hope and I'm praying that it lives up to the hype. You have people like Ainsley, Portia Power himself, who are playing the game right now. No, they can't talk about it, but they're throwing little hints out there like, I got some time in it, and I can't wait to talk about them when this embargo's up. And I can't wait to hear those things. But I'm also the kind of guy like I want to play the game straight up. You know what I mean? I'm not going to look at the extra content. It was just like we were talking about Scarlet Nexus earlier. I'm not going to play the demo. Why? Because I've already invested. I've already told myself, just because of everything that I've seen, another company that's been very open and very forefront about the gameplay, about the style and everything else, I'm already highly invested and interested. It's the day one for me. No matter what else happens, it's day one. And I made that decision as a gamer. And I did the same thing with Biomutant. That's the same thing that you have to do as Biomutant with these games. It doesn't have to just be Biomutant. That's the crazy thing about this. It doesn't just have to be this single game. It's with every game. Stop looking at, the technical specs, because at the end of the day, you don't give a damn about that. What you give a damn about is how well the game plays. How do you feel about the game overall? Is it speaking to you as a player enjoying the experience?
Tell them, Stu.
And if it doesn't, or if 1080p isn't good enough for you, even though most of the fucking world is playing at 1080p, 1440p because it's ease of access, then you got some crazy shit going on. Because I don't understand this corny shit that continues to go on within these communities. Again, like I stated earlier, it's not just Twitter. It's not just Facebook. It's not just Reddit. But all three places combined together are saying the same type of shit. And it's getting annoying at this point. Enjoy your games for what they are. Not for what you think that they can be. Not because you're some technical fucking asshole all of a sudden. I've been PC gaming since I was 10 years old, bro. Since early 2000s. I've been PC gaming, multiplayer gaming. I know what quality looks like. I know what frames look like. And guess what? I've also been console gaming that same time span. Not caring about the frames and everything else. Why? Because a good experience is a good experience. I do agree now, however, 60 FPS is the way to go. We're moving forward. We have to move forward. This whole filmic thing and 30 FPS being it's acceptable. No, it's not. It's not acceptable anymore. And anybody that thinks that 30 is acceptable, you haven't played 60. And it's okay. If that's what you have access to, I'm not downplaying 30. But I'm telling you, do not downplay 60 and say that, there's no point. It's the same, it's like the same thing with these people saying, why'd you buy a next-gen console just to play old games? You see why. Because of your performance differences, Biomutant can play 4K 60 on your Series X console, where on your One X, it's doing 1080p 60. Oh, crazy. It's the same thing the PS5 is doing, right? But we want to talk about old games. These games are going to be supported for at least the next 2 to 3 years. And to see what they're still, Bro, Pong, to see what they're still bringing out of these games almost a decade later into the generation is insane to me. Like, have y'all not looked at this? Have y'all not looked at the game at all? Look how vast and how all the variety that was within this game for it to be a still considered current gen title. They have not released the next gen updates for it yet, but they're working on it. For a 20-man team to do everything that they have done with this game to be as fantastic as it's looking, that's what we need to be hype about.
Right. Exactly.
There's
you were just
100+ people teams that are having a hard time.
Absolutely. But the point being still is, and I think the core of what you're getting at is the same stuff we've been talking about. Stop trying to ruin the experience for other people. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That is fine. And not every game is going to be, but let people enjoy the stuff that they're going to enjoy, whatever that may be. Whether it's old games, whether it's 720p, whether it's 4K, whether it's 60 frames, whether it's 12 frames stuttering away like we used to have to play games at. Whatever the case may be, man. Look, if a game isn't for you, if you are a spec whore and that's all you look for in a game, so be it. Again, you're an adult. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. If that's what you are, so be it. That's fine. But if other people aren't and they want to enjoy the game, and don't try to steal that enjoyment. And certainly don't try to down the devs who made it just because it isn't what you wanted it to be. That is wrong. If there's actually something to be critical about, be critical about it. But just because it didn't turn out how you wanted it to be, doesn't make it trash, doesn't make it shit for everybody else that may like it and may want to play it and don't care, because a majority of people still don't have a 4K 60 television or monitor to play on. The majority of people still are playing 1080p. So guess what? That's okay. They don't care. They're okay with it. So why aren't you? Why do you have to be the person that comes in and tries to say, no, you can't enjoy it? Because look, when we blow up, we blow up the graphics, oh, look at what it looks like. Look how pixelated it is. It looks awful. Oh my God, look at Craig. Blah, blah, blah. Stop doing that garbage. It's childish. It's corny. It's
childish.
Corny.
It is.
Flat out. You're just showing your true colors when you do that. You're showing the fact that you have not matured enough as a person to understand that the world does not revolve around you. That's what 3-year-olds think, right? As a dad, I've been through those battles. There is a point when you're a kid, and I know you have, Steel.
Oh yeah.
There's a point when you're a kid when you believe the world revolves around you. Everything. Like that everything is about me. Grow out of that, because we realize that that's not how everybody works, because everybody has their own feelings, everybody has their own thoughts. So when you do this garbage, when you throw tantrums on social media over stuff that you don't happen to like, that just shows your true age inside. You got to grow up, you got to mature, and let people just enjoy it. Not everything has to be about you all the time. 24/7. It isn't about you, and you're not an expert. Even if you do have some great baseline knowledge, fantastic. Use that to help people understand. Don't use it to tear down what people are enjoying. That's the wrong way to go about it. And again,
I agree.
That's where I'll leave it. I just want to add on to your rant, because I think at the end of the day, Steel, what you were just talking about at its core is that's why you and I started this show, for God's sakes, is because we are two adult males who happen to still enjoy gaming at this point in their life and have a passion for it and love all things about gaming. And so many people have lost that.
Yeah.
And so many people have forgotten where that goes.
Indy said the perfect point right here. This is the whole basis of it. Regardless of the technicalities of a game, the attacking of devs is disgusting. It's disgusting, it's corny, it's stupid. If you don't like a game, don't play it. That's you. There's so many more options out there. Nobody's telling you to wait. No, nobody's telling you. And I'm just gonna roll this in there because I want to continue an extra little rant. It's the entire, because I feel like we knocked this whole Biomutant thing out the park. We people have been kind of touching on it all week, but we've definitely been giving 100% effort towards how we feel about this Biomutant topic. We're talking and we're just hitting home runs. But what adds on to this also, and that I kind of want to touch into, is the entire pocket checking thing that goes on with it also. Like, for example, the game is also an EA Play Pro. So if you have that service, you can get it. It's on PC. You can get it. Basically, you're getting it for free if you have EA Play Pro. That's how I got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, whatever else. But if you can play full price for it, you can play full price for it also. This whole corny thing that's going on back and forth with trashing devs, trying to tell people how games are supposed to be made. Again, constructive criticism is cool and all. That is what we're supposed to do. That's why we're here, to do constructive criticism, to have conversations, to open things up, so we can show people why gaming is important. Why the pocket check and the non recognition of the accessibility options that are getting put out here, the attacking of devs, those three main corny things is so insane to me, and I don't get the concept of any of it. And just to continue on the whole pocket checking point, why do we care what these companies are spending to put these games in services? Who gives a damn?
That's a whole nother one, man.
It's who gives a damn? And I don't. That's a whole another hour conversation, hour rant that I want to but I wanted to also throw that in there because it's another corny thing that these people are doing to kind of tell you why you shouldn't be doing something. Oh, if you're not paying for your games at full price, then why are you playing them? Oh, you only play them because these games are free. People have more options than they've ever had before. Period. More accessibility than you have ever had before. Just because you treat your art like trash, just because you treat your hardware like trash, just because you don't like seeing things move forward, doesn't have to be me. I've been in PC. I've seen my games come forward for years and years and years, and have always wondered why on the console side of things, why it couldn't be the same. Why are we rebuying games? Why are you guys okay with Rockstar, for example, coming out with a game and not releasing anything in 10 years? Damn near at this point. Again, a whole nother discussion we can have. It is insane to me. Not the game's doing great, whatever the case may be. But just to tie it back right back into Biomutant, man, all this constant bickering and stupid BS and trying to tell devs of what they should or should not be doing, bro. If you're not a dev, don't stop talking to these devs of what they should or should not be doing. Be constructive. If there's issues, if there's bugs, say that. Other than that, play what you want, like what you play, love whatever you're into, and keep that shit pushing. Other than that, man, is there anything else? Because you pretty much knocked everything out of the park. I just wanted to go on.
Oh, you knocked it out of the park, brother. You went on your rant, brother. Perfect.
And that's beautiful. That's pretty much it on that, man.
That's what it's about, man.
Again, with that being said, I don't know, Pong, if you want to start getting that little bit of a the giveaway going. Yeah. Because we're 2 hours in. I want to say we're probably more so an hour and 45 minutes in. Because again, we did start 15 minutes early to get the music going, so people can file in and get a real feel for what we got going on. Because people said they love that. They're loving that intro and outro music. So we're getting ready to, if you did not know, we're giving away Mass Effect Legendary Edition for the Xbox. So for anybody that's participating in chat, that has participated in the chat, has hit the like button, has shared it out, you should be able to have access to this giveaway that we are doing. We're doing it at random. We're doing a complete random giveaway. We're doing it through a name generator or whatever the case might be. So hopefully one of you great people is going to be able to get a chance to get this Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Again, it's a fantastic game. Y'all can see the gameplay in the background. I've been low-key peeping to that back and forth because the quality was just excellent. It was excellent when I was playing, but just going back and looking at the replay, man, I'm remembering my whole Mass Effect 1 experience from just this past couple weeks, man. It's been excellent. Can't wait to jump into 2. But yeah, as Pong, I believe you're getting that set up in the background. Casket Repair said he's never played Mass Effect. Hopefully you can get this Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Casket, because it's definitely, if you haven't played Mass Effect, you like an RPG kind of style, even if you just like shooters overall, third-person shooters, man, definitely give Mass Effect a try. I put about, I'm going to say, what was it? Like I said, 16 to 18 hours in. I didn't do too much of the side content or whatever the case might be. Actually, to be completely honest, I went through the experience. I just let the story take me wherever the story was taking me. Whether I wanted to do extra side missions or whatever the case might be, that's what I was getting into. But once that story, I'll admit, once that story started ramping up, I was heavily invested. I wanted to find out what was going next. So as we get that set up, hopefully one of you lucky people will be able to get that locked in. So as Pong gets that set up, let me know when you're ready for that to come in. And real quick,
are you going to bring up the name generator? Wait, hold on. Are you going to bring up the name generator? What are you going to do?
I
your
can.
Side, or you want me to do it on my side?
You can. You
want me to just do it on my side?
Yeah, you can just do it on your side.
Okay.
That'd probably just be a lot easier to do.
That's fine.
Whenever you're ready for that, just let me know.
We should talk. Quick. We should touch on. We should talk on. Well, no, you brought it up in your rant, so why don't you go ahead and kick it off? With the.
I can't.
I'm losing my train of thought because I'm doing too many things with the Global Accessibility Awareness Day. That was just on
Love you.
The 20th. So accessibility in video games and how important it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
One of the key things, that's a fact. Actually, I forgot that was something that we wanted to touch on. I know Trevor brought that up in the chat earlier. To make sure that we touched up on it because it was definitely part of our lineup. I got caught up in my little rant. Was just thinking about everything that's been going on within the different communities and within our gaming sphere, I should say. Look, accessibility is becoming a more and more prevalent thing. Not only is Xbox, because Xbox is a specific device that they've created to give accessibility to people that might have some special issues, man. That might have some handicaps or whatever. And Xbox is continuing that by also, I don't know if some of y'all might have seen it, with Psychonauts 2. They're also adding a lot of accessibility options as far as maybe you're not that great at platforming. They're adding in some things to help you to make it easier, whether it be some auto aim functions or whatever the case might be, to make it easier for the end user to be involved with the game and everything else. And Ratchet and Clank is also doing the same thing. So on both sides, for Sony and Microsoft, they're taking some I'm going to say precautions, but they're taking some steps to really get accessibility going and give people more options to play these games that they might have not had before. Again, especially with Microsoft coming out with a device to give people with special needs access to games that they might not have access to before, because not everybody can pick up a controller and use it. But they do, I believe it's called the Xbox Adaptive Controller, if I'm not mistaken. And it opens up where you can hook up different devices up to it or whatever the case might be, that this specific person needs to be able to enjoy the game. I feel accessibility is extremely important because, again, I know games are a selfish experience, and we want everything to be catered to us and everything. But at the same time, we also have to consider the bigger picture. We're trying to get more access to more people. We want more people to experience these games so that we can create more memories, and to be able to add extra accessibility options, or being just a focus point for a lot of these companies, is something that's super major to me, because everybody should be able to play, no matter size, shape, form, whatever the case might be. Even if an alien dropped in from outer space and said, "Ooh, what games do you have to play?" That's my alien voice. I don't know what alien that's supposed to be, but playing Mass Effect,
Why is it gotta be like that?
That could have been any alien. I don't I don't know. I didn't want to be
Why
like
does-
I didn't want to be like boop 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 boop. You know what I mean? I didn't want to make it like I don't know. I didn't want to seem like I was alien, like alien races, like Amanda is in fucking Mass Effect 1.
Just go with the classic ack. You just gotta do the ack.
Okay, we could do that. We could maybe. But either way, you know, just to be able to bring these games to different people and into different lights, I feel is extremely important for me, at least. And I see people having a good time with that in the chat. But it just seeing these companies really take out the time to add these extra accessibility options. Herbert the Perfect Alien. Shout out to Back. But yeah, just seeing these extra accessibility options come into the gaming sphere, it's such a fantastic thing, man. And hopefully we continue to go down these paths. Definitely people speak up, man. I know, like, I can't speak to it, at least from my side personally, but I do know some people that have some handicaps, man. And just to, and I've seen plenty of videos. I've pretty much brought a tear in my eyes, especially me having kids myself, man. Being able to give them more access to these games. I mean, how can we go wrong, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty much what I have as far as accessibility goes. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad that the devs and these companies are seeing that it's something that's important, and just giving the gamer and just overall making the gamer feel valued. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what's extremely important. So.
I agree with 100%.
What we got going on, man? You ready?
I'm almost done. Almost done. Bear with me.
Okay, all good. I guess.
No. I'll talk. I can talk a little bit about too while I'm doing this. Excellent. So, I think with accessibility, the ultra important that we continue to push push the tech, but we also continue to congratulate and obviously reward the companies that make it a priority to grant access to as many people as possible. Right? I think that we have to continue to applaud and make sure that we're praising the right companies that do it. I don't think we need to necessarily I don't think we necessarily need to down companies who don't make it a priority, because everybody's going to have their reason, and there's businesses. It's not always feasible or affordable, depending on what we're talking about. Again, there's some easy stuff and some really small stuff that everybody can do, right, to help with the situation. But it's not always feasible for every single company out there to do it. And obviously, smaller dev teams don't have the same time. They don't have the same budgets to, since we're specifically talking about games here in this industry, they don't always have the budgets or the time to put every single possible accessibility option that they could have into a game, just from the standpoint that they can't. It's just not possible. But again, giant big companies, Microsoft is really leading the way in a lot of ways, and they've been getting the praise that they should. Sony's done something. Naughty Dog definitely went out of their way. No matter how you feel about The Last of Us 2, I will give them complete credit for the accessibility options that they put in there. I think you can play that home almost the entire game, if not the entire game, just by sound. I think some people have claimed. Yeah. I
didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I think I saw that obviously there were some people that actually played it just with the sound alone, and they were praising Naughty Dog because they could not believe it was possible. But I think that is. But anyways, we talk about these larger corporations. They have the ability to step up and to put forth initiatives that and become leaders, right, in whatever industry, but specifically, again, we're talking about game industry. They have that ability to become the leaders, to show the way forward, where we can put whatever it is. Again, there's so many different things we can look at, whether it's the controllers, whether it's just simple options within a game, whatever the case may be. You can go ahead and put forth the kind of the roadmap of how you can do it right. And again, the more people that we can get into this industry, whether it be through just through simple options, or whether it be through something like Microsoft's controller, special controller they made.
Right.
I think that is the what we need to focus on, and continue to focus on, because the more people here, the more people enjoying, the better for everybody, right? And again, we got to think outside the box. Shout out to Clowns. I wanted to make sure to get this
Okay.
in there. For anybody who doesn't know, Italian Clowns, Godfather, whatever you want to call him in this community. But Italian Clowns did an article for Wired on this just the other day. So go check that out. And he talked about his struggles because he's got narcolepsy. Okay, and he struggles with
Okay.
memory functions because of it, right?
Hmm.
Again, shout out to him for being brave enough to write this. Did awesome article. But it's those things that we don't think about, because that's not, when we think about accessibility, we think about the obvious stuff, right? That
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
that we can see or that we know about all the time.
Ooh,
But I didn't
easy
even
mode.
Right, exactly,
It's
exactly.
deeper
But
than
I
that.
didn't even it's deeper than that. And I hadn't even thought about it. I didn't even think about, like, Clowns brought up again with his narcolepsy, that he has memory issues, short-term memory issues. So when
Right.
he's playing a game, he can get lost very easy. Right. So he was bringing up examples of how games can improve their map systems to
Okay.
help people in his situation remember where they're at, or have ease of access to that information, so that if they are in the middle of it, even if they start playing the game, they don't necessarily need that information, that they can get to it very simply and go, oh, that's right, be reminded of what they're doing, or what objective they're at, or guide them to the next point of interest. And he was giving shout outs to games that did that very well. So that's a great article. Again, go check that out. It's at Wired. But I just think we have to think outside the box, and these bigger corporations that do have a lot of money and a lot of time need to continue to push that, and to continue to look at maybe places that we never thought of, or listen to people. And I think Microsoft again does this, a fantastic job of listening to people within the community. I mean, shout out to Cerebral Paul, who has worked directly with Microsoft on a lot of accessibility stuff, right? They come to him, and people like him, to ask them for their feedback. And I think that it has to continue to happen, because not everybody's situation can be lumped together in one group, right? We have to
Mhm.
look at each individual and say, okay, what are you experiencing that maybe this person who may have a similar disability, is not experiencing, so that we can go ahead and try to address that if at all possible.
Right.
And I think that has to continue to be, and we just have to continue this open-minded approach to all of this, that we want as big a gaming family as possible, to enjoy what we enjoy, that even if we don't think about it on a daily basis because it doesn't affect us, there are people out there that are affected every single day, every single minute of their lives. And we need to be aware of those people, and make sure that companies are doing what they can within their means to go ahead and address a lot of this, so that more and more and more games are open for everybody to experience and enjoy. So
Yeah,
that's where
facts.
I'm at with it.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you
I
about
can run
ready?
this. I'm gonna run it. Yeah, I'm gonna run it here
And
and see.
before you hit that,
Yeah.
I missed the rage. Shout out to the Hellboy also in the chat. Um, People were saying that we were having some stream issues. I didn't notice on my side. Unfortunately, damn man, I hate when we have stream issues. I know it's saying that we was getting some. For some reason, it was saying that YouTube wasn't receiving all the content, or whatever the case might be.
YouTube's been bad all
Um,
week.
I went
Yeah,
ahead
you.
and I also noticed that I had my bit rate a little high. I usually have it high from when I record content. As you could tell, it's probably part of the reason why the Mass Effect content in the background is playing really smoothly. But my bit rate probably might have been pretty high also. So I went ahead and turned that down to something that's more accessible for YouTube. I know YouTube can be bougie like that sometimes. So I also adjusted that. So hopefully there's no more issues that pop up, and hopefully you guys can hear us clearly. Hey, again, man, we do the show for you guys. If we're having problems, we're having issues, let us know. We also like to get you guys very involved. So if there's any conversations, any topic points that y'all want to bring up, definitely say that within the chat. I do want to again acknowledge the chat and want to throw some love out there. We got Hellboy who jumped in here, Judezilla who's up in here, Hertog is up in here, really showing us some love. Stanley, he said everything is looking good now. I appreciate it. Much love to y'all. Again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in for our Saturday morning Living Split Screen podcast, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time. Again, we're trying to grow. We're on the constant movement. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I know that's one that's extremely important. Google Podcasts, basically anywhere that you can find your podcast services. We upload next day. I'm going to make sure that I start getting on top of that. So as soon as we get done uploading from YouTube, usually the video and everything clears up by the end of the day. And I upload the next day. I say previous, the very next day. So Sunday it goes live for everybody that may be interested in that. And if you do tune into the podcast services, leave us a rating, 5 stars. Hopefully, if we're doing everything correct. If we're not, let us know how much we suck so we can continue to improve. That's the whole point of this. We want to be one of the, me and Paul, we want to be somebody that y'all can look to when you want the energy, when you want the authenticity, when you want the live, raw, and uncut action that only we can provide, from what I've noticed at least. That's why we want you here. That's why we're doing it. And we're extremely passionate, as y'all can probably tell, and as we could hopefully you guys can feel. And other than that, man, Pong says he's ready to give one lucky winner within the chat. Again, the participants, if you participate in the chat, hit that like, share it out. You should be considered one of the participants within our YouTube chat, because we are giving away Mass Effect Legendary Edition for Xbox. So Pong,
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. No, go back to your alien voice. And the winner is the favorite names in our chat. Stanley Francois.
Stanley Francois. Hey.
Congratulations, Stanley Francois.
Congrats to Stanley Francois.
Won
excellent.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition Xbox code, sir.
Yes, excellent. Stanley Francois, if you can, man, at us at follow us on Living Split Screen if you haven't yet. I'm pretty sure you are, if I'm not mistaken. We'll send that to you in the DMs. I'm actually going to go ahead and write that down just so Stanley knows. Stanley, if you're here, man, you have won Mass Effect Legendary Edition for the Xbox. Now, if for some reason you may have it already, or maybe you want to do it, you want to give it away yourself, that's cool. That's all cool with us. Just let us know, man. We can always re-roll it if need be.
I got Stanley Francois. I got Stanley in my Twitter. So
okay, excellent. Hey, there you go. Let's go. Thanks, Kings. Hey, man, much love. We're glad to do it, man. Again, that's what we're here for. To show love, to continue to show support and everything. We're just glad that you're here, tuned in, locked in, and hey, man, you deserve it. Much love. I highly appreciate everybody being here, locked in, tuned in, as we get into the points where we're starting to ramp the show down a little bit. We're 2 hours in, feeding y'all live, raw, and uncut content, man. And this is about time where we get into this day in gaming section, where basically I go back within the last 30 years.
Change the name. We changed the name. It's Make Us Feel Old. That's what this is.
No, because then if you guys feel old, then it just makes it worse. I don't want you now. If you feel old, see, that's your own personal prerogative. See, I can't help that you feel old. I can't do anything about that, you know? But if I say this day in gaming, you can say, this day in gaming, What games are you going to talk about today? What can I reminisce on today? What memories can I reinvigorate in your mind today? That is the entire point of this. Gaming is art. Shout out to the homie Everborn Saga, who has been the main proponents of making sure that that is something that is understood. Gaming is art, should be treated as such. And just because you have older games or whatever does not mean that those memories are not important. So, as I get that brought up for that This Day in the Gaming segment, let me go ahead and switch over to the full screen. Switch over my window capture as y'all see my Twitter page real quick. Nothing wrong with that. All
Stanley
right.
Francois, I am DMing you as we speak. So look in your DMs for that code, brother.
Stanley Francois, look for your DMs, man. Pong sending you the code live, raw, and uncut in the DMs. Mass Effect Legendary Edition again for the Xbox. Stanley Francois, much love to you. Congrats for that win, my guy.
Enjoy.
Hopefully you thoroughly enjoy that. And boom, here we go. Wrapping up the show with This Day in Gaming. All right, so as of May 22nd, for those who are not familiar with what today's date is, 28 years ago, Super Nintendo released Final Fight 2 in Japan. For those of you who might be familiar with Final Fight, it sounds like a familiar game. I might have played it through an emulator at some point.
Final Fight? You better have played it, Mr. Fighter. Are you kidding me right now?
Final Fight is probably Final Fight at 9 times out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times out of 10 times. I can't do that. 9 out of 10 times is definitely probably a game that I ended up playing from back in the day. I don't have any vivid memories of it at this moment. Super Nintendo, a lot of the Super Nintendo and Genesis stuff is it's kind of vague for me unless it was Sonic. A lot of that stuff is kind of vague for me. But I probably played a lot of it, especially through emulators and whatnot. A lot of my family made sure that I was up to date on that. So Final Fight 2, man. Super Nintendo, for those who might have the, excuse me, Lord, I got a lot of built up gas right now.
Come on,
Woo,
brother.
excuse me.
Tums?
No, I don't need any Tums. It's that
Maybe it was the alien voice. Maybe
it was the alien voice.
You took in a little extra air, you know?
That's exactly what it was.
Extra air down there.
That's probably exactly what it is. All that extra air comes fucking inside my esophagus now. Oh, snap. Okay. As we move forward, 21 years ago, Nintendo 64, we talked about this earlier, Pong. Perfect Dark released on the Nintendo 64. For those who remember that game,
classic.
I have very vivid memories of Nintendo on Nintendo 64. Perfect Dark, excellent game from back in the day. Again, it fits in that 007, that GoldenEye era, man. You just couldn't go wrong with those style of games, man. 20 years ago, this is crazy to think about. PlayStation 2 released Red Factions in 2001, man.
Oh,
wow.
Such a good game.
Yeah, it is definitely a solid game. Red Factions, definitely check that out.
Remaster is excellent too.
I don't think I've touched on the remaster, so that's what's up.
Excellent.
Yep. 2003, PlayStation 2 released Love, Hina, Gorgeous, Torado Happening in Japan. Not familiar with that game, but we'll look at it.
6 times I completed it. 6 times.
He said Pong said 6 times. Pong just he just completes all kinds of games. You never know the variety of Pongs.
No, but I don't want to know what that is if you pull that up, because that might be something else that I don't want to be associated with. PlayStation 2 had some sketchy stuff.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, especially if you were importing them. Oh, yeah.
Correct.
There was some
Correct.
For a regional unlocked console, there was some crazy things on there. 2007, PlayStation 2 released Staven. I don't know what Staven is. I guess that's a future time. 2007, PlayStation 2 released Odin Sphere. Okay. Odin Sphere. That sounds familiar. I don't think I've touched on that.
Game.
And okay.
The hand-drawn graphics in that. Oh, it's gorgeous, man.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. I'll definitely take your word on that one. DS released Pirates of the Caribbean. Who doesn't love a good Pirates of the Caribbean? Never played any of the games.
I don't think they made any good games.
I don't know if the games were any good. Hopefully, if y'all played them, let me know. Let me know in the chat if the Pirates of the Caribbean games were any good. I love the movies. Love the movies. I can go on a binge spree. That and Harry Potter. I can go on a binge spree with any one of those movies. Then it was also released on the Xbox 360. So 2012, we're getting into some fire now, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon's Dogma released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360.
So good.
Man,
so good,
for those who might not be familiar with Dragon's Dogma, excellent games. I don't know if I ever had a chance to really jump into them. It's one of those series that I want them to at least make a remaster of, or pretty much bring back up to date, because Dragon's Dogma is one of those that set the standard for a lot of these other role-playing and action RPG games that you may know of today. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. One of the greatest, for me, Tom Clancy games that have ever come out. Man, Future Soldier, as far as like a third-person over-the-shoulder game, bro, for everything to do with being able to control your team. The multiplayer play was excellent. The combat, the gunplay, it was an excellent game.
Let's just say, Steel.
Excellent game.
Let's just say it. This is when Ghost Recon was Ghost Recon.
At the top of the pier. Top-tier Ghost Recon games, bro.
This is when it was real Ghost Recon, when it was squad-based,
story,
real, tactical action.
Excellent.
That's
game.
The way Ghost Recon should be. I like the new Ghost Recon.
They're all right.
Be real. It's not Ghost Recon anymore.
It's not.
This
it's,
is Ghost.
Yeah.
It's not this.
It's nothing compared to Future Soldier, and that's a fact. I mean, I like what they did as far as like visuals and everything nowadays, but as far as like being what Ghost Recon used to be, it's strayed away a little bit. Hopefully, they can get back to their roots here soon. 2013 Xbox 360 released Call of Juarez Gunslinger. What's up, baby? You're gonna have to ask your mama if you want some chips, little girl. No, you can't have those chips. You gotta have some regular Lay's. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta keep things organic. Give me a second, baby. I'll help you in a minute. But yeah, we released Call of Juarez Gunslinger on the Xbox
just pick
360.
Those back. I just picked those all up. All the Call of Juarez, as they were on sale 2 months ago. Yeah, for backwards compat, man. The freaking still amazing games to this day. I love them.
Excellent.
Yep.
2013, we also got The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing on PC. Not familiar with that game. I am familiar with Van Helsing, classic character, especially, man, that Van Helsing movie is actually pretty decent.
I like that movie. A lot of that movie got panned hard, but I like that.
It was actually a decent movie. But then again, a lot of these movies, man, I don't try to go over the top. Now, you do have some of them that are like kind of in between. But anyway, that's neither here or there. 2015, as we move forward, 3DS released Puzzle and Dragon Z, a Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Brothers edition. That's interesting. I don't think I ever touched that. So there's that. Then we move forward into 2018 on the PlayStation 4, H1Z1 Battle Royale, one of the Battle Royales that basically set the standard, and it's been around for a while. I know H1Z1 was very prevalent on PC for a long time. And then, PUBG came out, and then you got Fortnite and whatnot. But definitely a solid experience. I typically will always go more for PUBG. I feel like PUBG does does that style a little better as far as like feel and everything than H1Z1 did. H1Z1 feels a little more great value to me. I'm not to say that that's bad, but it just kind of feels off. Doesn't feel as polished, I should say, as PUBG does. And that's saying something, because PUBG took a minute to get polished, as polished as they are now. But it's still excellent for coming to console for a Battle Royale. Actually, it's still a solid game. Nintendo Switch release. Another thing about Nintendo, they have gotten over 100 retro games here in recent news on their console. Again, Nintendo living off of that nostalgia, man. Mega Man Legacy Collection released in 2018. Then they also released the Mega Man Legacy Collection and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. You like how they do that, right? 2 in the same year.
Of course.
They couldn't just give you one. They had to give you 2 also. They couldn't give you one collection. Typically, when you say a collection, that means all the games, right? They said, no, we got to give you 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Respect the hustle. Respect
the hustle. You got it.
PC on 2018 released State of Decay 2. Crazy to think about, man. Solid games. Done a lot of work. Hopefully State of Decay can eventually get to a point where they're the look of the games kind of match up with the design. I hope so. I really hope so, because they always, I feel like what's kind of held State of Decay back is the way that they show the game. or show like the CGIs and everything, and then when they actually demonstrate what the game is, it's almost two night and day or two different things. You can't show what you showed at at these E3s and at these conferences and whatnot, and then have the games come out the way they do, especially with everything.
Watch Dogs who?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Especially with everything that these games do, man, as broad as they are. You just you gotta match up the visuals of what you're trying to do as far as the game goes, and I just hope they just kind of reiterate on State of Decay and continue to like build on it. You know what I mean? I'm just glad to see that they continue to work on it, continue to develop it, and to finally see that they're trying to finally get some real money behind them as far as Microsoft goes. So, and then 1 year ago today in 2020, we kind of talked about a couple of these earlier. Got Evercade on the Evercade system. I'm not familiar with the Evercade system, but they released Evercade.
Super cool. Yeah, okay. Evercade is really, really cool. Retro console.
Okay.
Got different collections of games that they put together from the retro side of things, but very well, high quality produced product. Right. Okay. You got some of that less than okay stuff out there. Okay. Evercade is one of the tops, man. If you're looking for a really high quality retro machine, Evercade is. They make handhelds and they make consoles.
Oh, so, excellent. Yeah. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So definitely that's something to check out for sure. PC then has released in 2020 of this day. PC and PlayStation 4, Man-Eater, a game that we talked about earlier that is going into Game Pass.
Can't wait.
Can't
wait. I'm held off.
Again, yeah, there was a game that I held off too. I was like, man, I think it'd be a pretty cool to be a mutant shark and just attack people and just have a good time with it. Might be a game that I check out just because it's a Game Pass, man.
Heck yeah.
Benefit. And then PlayStation 4 also released Saints Row the Third Remastered. Saints Row games, they're
doing it again.
They're GTA, they're GTA style of games. They're more arcade style. GTA is already arcade, kind of like an arcade style kind of game. But Saints Row takes it that much further, taking it over the top, being wonky, wacky. The humor, the powers that they throw in, the craziness that they throw in a lot of the time. Good games to play if you guys have.
It's coming to next gen, and it's coming to next gen. They're doing it again. They're taking that Grand Theft Auto approach. They're going to release it again. Come on, Steel. Sound excited, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not excited. I'm cool. I played it. I know what I'm getting. I'm not doing it again. Y'all. Hopefully, if y'all are invested, I hope you enjoy it. I'm cool. And then on the dedicated console, they released TurboGrafx 16 Mini on this day, May 22nd of 2020.
Shout out to TurboGrafx 16, one of the originals.
Facts.
Oh man.
And that is your This Day in Gaming segment, where we just go back within the last 30 years of gaming and basically show you why.
And make you feel old.
Pong says it's to make you feel old. I say it's to make sure that you appreciate your gaming as art, as it should be. Because, man, as we move forward, it's becoming more and more prevalent that the games, your investments matter, your games matter, your library matters. And just to be able to go back and reminisce on some of these titles, maybe you have, maybe you don't, maybe they're locked up in your deep dungeon somewhere, or maybe you had to give them away for whatever the case might be. We just want you to reinvigorate those memories and really bring those to the forefront, because that's what gaming's about, right? We're here to talk about gaming. We're here to have a good time. We're here to have as a collective in a community to show people why we love gaming. So with that being said, Pong, man.
And games are art and they need to be appreciated.
Games are art and should be treated as such in every way, shape, or form. Shout out to Everborn again, man. Pong, man. Another excellent episode. There was an extra rant that we kind of missed out on, but I can always bring it in. I'll probably bring it in as a solid topping point as far as like the pocket checking goes. But I did see it within that Biomutant topics also. That's why I wanted to throw it in there. But the whole pocket checking companies thing is a whole different topic that we could definitely jump into at some other point.
That's going to continue, Steel. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, it's never going to go away. So we can always touch on it at whenever point. Along with the old games and everything else. A couple other things that I just wanted to run through as we finish out the show. People, pay attention to what's happening within the future. Netflix is looking to enter gaming. Destiny 2 is bringing out their crossplay test. I believe if it's not today, I believe it's on the 25th when they do their server updates to start testing out crossplay and making sure things are working well. Again, accessibility is something to keep keeping an eye out for. It's always important. The Master Chief Collection continues to get updates, man. Insane. Halo. As much as
Season
people try
7 is starting to flight, right?
as much as people try to downplay Halo, man, it continues to thrive and live on. People continue to play the game, continues to get updates. And then Nintendo getting over 100,000, over 100 retro games. Now, this was something else that I was going to get into a little bit of a rant into. I don't know if you guys heard, but they're locking fast travel behind in Skyward Sword HD Edition behind an amiibo. Yes. Y'all take that with what you want. Y'all take that for what you want. I'm not going to, take down
Respect the hustle.
I'm not going to go down that consumer, I'm not going to go into that. And other than that, those are some of the hot topics that are going on within these next few weeks, man. Definitely keep a lookout for those things. Again, Pong, another excellent episode. Again, I don't know how we keep doing it, man. We keep going into these streams, man, and over 2 hours of straight energetic content, giving it to y'all live, raw, and uncut, authentic. Just man, and we're doing it naturally, man. Again, we have lives and everything else. We have personal things that are going on, and we just get together on a week by week basis to give y'all authentic content, authenticity, and just overall a vibe that I think that only living split screen can bring you guys. Again, this will be uploaded tomorrow on all audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's one of the big announcements. I know it's always difficult to get on the Apple platform, so it's exciting that we're on there. Look for that tomorrow for those who like to tune in that way. Again, much love to everybody that was in the chat tonight. The chat, again, were always active. There was quite a few times where y'all were just scrolling through because y'all were just having such great conversations in there. Again, I'm gonna give some quick shout outs. Infinite, I see you in here. Casket Repair, PyCon Fusion, Hellboy, Caitlin's in here. What's going on? Hertog Vin, what's up, my guy? Indy, we already know. Much love to Indy. Fun Speculation, my guy. What's going on? Stewart, UK Dasherus, the one man, the driving man himself. Who else? We got Hellboy. I think I said that earlier. Juzilla Music. Who else we got in here, man? Who else? We had some wonderful, amazing people in here. Fastback, the OG. What else, man? Who else? Dutch was in here. Can't forget Dutch. Joe Dunmore. Trevor was in here. Stanley Francois. Shout out to you again for winning that Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Much love to you. Appreciate y'all for being here, man. Smitty Smith, I'll always love to see you here. Fuzzy Belvedere. Man, there's so many lovely people. If I miss your name, man, go ahead and hit a one in the chat, or show some love real quick on the outros. Hit that like button on your way out. And if I didn't say your name again, it's not because I forgot about you. I just I'm trying to wrap up the show and not go too crazy. But again, Pong, another excellent show, another excellent week. Always great to be here every Saturday morning with you, my guy, as we talk about the gaming industry in total. Again, I got all that.
Are you gonna make it?
I hope so. I got all that extra oxygen I took in from all those alien voices I was trying to interpret and whatnot. But anyway, man, excellent show. How you feeling, man? What's going on? Where can the people find you, man?
Episode 9 in the books. That means we got big number 10 next week, man.
Yes.
Man, we've been doing this for 10 weeks.
Almost
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
Almost 10 weeks next week, man.
Yeah, man. Crazy to think about.
This went from just a little, just an idea in the DMs, man, to this. And I absolutely, man, this is And I just get so excited towards the end of the week because I've got all my shows pretty much. I mean,
Right.
obviously Tuesdays is Xbox Factor podcast with
Right.
Boom and Zemi, which is fantastic way to start my week.
Solid
But
show.
then I get towards the end of the week and we got Friday nights with Xbox Ultimate with Mav and Caitlin and
Excellent
the
show.
rest of the Magnificent Seven over there. We had a great
Mhm.
time last night. Shout out to Mav. It was a rough one because we had technical issues last
Mhm.
night, but you know what? We kept it together. We had a great show, no matter what. I know Mav was upset. Shout out to Mav again, brother. But and then Saturday mornings, and I get together with
Mm.
you,
Yeah,
brother.
man.
And you know what? Again, we talk behind the scenes. We don't get talk as much as we should during the week just because of
Facts.
our lives and everything else. But you know what? We always know we're gonna hit it on Saturday morning.
Crazy,
And you
man.
and I just come in here, man, and it's like, no matter what is happening, if you got something going on, or if I got something going on, if we both got something going on, we hit Saturday morning and it's like a switch goes off and it's just you and me. And man, that energy kicks in,
Yeah.
and we both just find a way to make this happen each and every week. And we couldn't do it without all the amazing, phenomenal people that show up each week.
Facts.
We are trying to grow this community. People
Bigger and bigger, man.
love you all, so share us out. Like Steele said, now that we're on all obviously streaming services, check us out over there too as well. If you can't catch us live, that's okay, that's
Facts.
fine, but share us out,
No
tell
worries.
people to go check us out there. If people don't like to watch YouTube, which I know, obviously not everybody's got the
YouTube Premium.
YouTube Premium, so it's hard to watch YouTube all the time. Tell them we're out there on the streaming services. Give us those big ratings, give us those 5-star ratings, whatever the
Facts.
case may be. If you're on Apple, that helps us out greatly. But we love you all, and that's like real. This community for both Steele and I have become important parts of our life.
That is a fact.
And neither one of us knew it was going to be like this necessarily, but we're here now, and we appreciate each and every single person that comes out here and shows
Yes.
us love and support. So thank you all again. We can't do this without you, and just keep sharing us out because we want to grow this place. We really do. We do this because we enjoy it. We're full of passion, but Steele and I also have pride, and we want to make this the best Saturday show that you could possibly have, and we want everybody to wake up to it. That's what we want. Ains dropped in here earlier.
Yes, he
Shout
did.
out to Porsche Power. Ains dropped
Much
in here.
love.
You know what? He's been doing this game for a long time over at Season Gaming.
Yes.
And you know what he said this morning is the same thing that Steele and I talked behind the scenes that we wanted to start seeing happening. He said, "You know what? I'm trying to make it my daily routine to wake up to you guys each and every Saturday morning." That's what
And
it's
that's
about.
love.
That's what
That's
we want.
love.
Yeah, that's love. Nothing but love. But that's what we want to hear people saying.
Yes.
So, anyways, again, great show. Episode 9 in the books. Episode 10 next week. Can't wait to see what happens. We're getting closer and closer to E3.
Yeah.
Might start getting some more leaks. Might start hearing some more stuff. We didn't even talk about Starfield today.
We didn't.
Steele.
We didn't need to. We touched on Starfield.
No.
Did we touch on it last week?
We touched on it last week, but we
had
had more stuff this week. But you know what? That's what I'm saying.
It's awesome.
Even though we're not having big news drops, we still got topics to talk about, and
Yeah.
between you and I, we get into it. I can't wait to see what next week brings. But love you all, Pong Soul everywhere. I got Shop Podcast tonight. I already listed off my other shows. So Shop Podcast tonight. End your Saturday night right with a quick show. It's fun. We just keep it a little bit over an hour, but obviously, again, PTK Blam, Fuzzy, who was in here, my man, Fuzzy Belvedere, Stagorilla, and Centurion, and myself. We'll be hitting it tonight. So 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. Come check us out. Again, just a little bit over an hour. PTK Blam's been doing this game for nearly 5 years now. And him and Fuzzy have been together for nearly 3 of that, I think, or a little over 3 of it. So great show, great topics. We always have a fun time there. So come check me out there. Otherwise, you guys know where to find me. Pong Still Everywhere. Thank you again. And people, it's the weekend. It's coming in the summertime, so get outside too, as well as playing games. Get out there. Things are starting to get back to normal in most places a little bit here in America. So you know what? Get out there and enjoy life, because that's what it's about. We can't be trapped inside all the time. But otherwise, play games. But when you play them, play what you love and love what you play. Don't mind the BS that's out there. Don't let anybody ever tell you what you should enjoy. Just enjoy what you enjoy, and that's all there is to it. So anyways, have a great weekend, guys, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah. And again, GRG every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central. Still Rain, tuned in. I Still Rain everywhere. The T is a 7. Check me out. Living Split Screen in the morning. We are your new morning show. Tell everybody that you know about it. We're trying to be the next we're trying to be the next people that just take over the industry, man. Honestly, that's our goal. That's what we're moving towards. We want to be that shot in the arm, the adrenaline shot that this industry needs to show us the right path to get back down into. With that being said, man, again, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time. Come check us out right here every Saturday. Again, we're 10 weeks in next week. And other than that, man, much love to everybody that tuned in tonight. And
late shout out to Nam Omar.
That's a fact.
Up in the chat.
Shout out to Omar. Much love.
Brother. Absolutely.
But other than that, y'all,
it's not nighttime. Not nighttime yet. I caught that, by the way.
Hey, I hate when I do that because we're always doing shows at night, it seems like. Well, y'all have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful evening, no matter what time that you're listening to this. And other than that, Living Split Screen is out. Peace, y'all.
Later.